Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line, though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's not just second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back, of course, to the Revival Racing League, where we take you through the nostalgia of where it all began back in 1950 for the Formula 1 World Championship. We take to round number 5 at no other than Spa, one of only 4 circuits along the likes of Monaco, Monza and Silverstone to still be on the calendar since its inception all the way back 73 years ago in 1950. What a circuit it is. Of course, it's been through a multitude of changes, as you can see in the sort of mid-left of your screen. It's a very different Spa-Francorchamps to what we're used to, though still the famed Le Source, of course, the Eau Rouge and Radeon complex that everyone's come to know and love, the Camel Straight. But instead of going right and left at Les Combes, you just go left, and then you take a bit of a detour, go through the Belgian countryside, through the Ardennes forest, and then you battle your way back through and loop your way around all the way to round off the lap of Blanchimont, and then, of course, the start-finish line. My name, of course, is Zach Sweeney. I've got Michael Sifalda alongside me in the commentary. He's also in charge of production and making sure the cameras are pointing in the right places at the right times. But, of course, Michael, looking forward to seeing how this race goes today, because we came off the back of a pretty interesting race in Switzerland for Bremgarten a couple of weeks ago. But Spa, it's fast, it's flowing, it's tricky, and particularly in these cars, it's definitely going to be a danger zone.
Oh, this track is giant, 14.1 kilometers for the Americans and Englishmen as well. 8.7 miles. This is a giant circuit, and I'm definitely interested in what kind of racing we will see here today. Of course, first up will be qualifying. That will start in a minute.
Yes, of course we are right now just in the practice session, of course. Then it'll overlap into a 30-minute qualifying. Quite a long qualifying session in all fairness, but you know, so it gives them plenty of time. It's a long lap here, 4 minutes in length, so they do get a decent couple of laps in during that 30-minute time. It's a lap time comparable, really, with the Circuit de la Sarthe, better known as the Le Mans circuit for obviously the 24 Hours of Le Mans, you know, that big endurance race that everyone makes a big fuss about. I don't know why, but of course. And coming into this race, round number 5, of course, we enter into the final 3 rounds. We go to Belgium, France, and Italy to round off the season. Of course, we're here in Belgium. Taking a quick look at the championship standings going in today is, of course, Costa, who leads the way, only by a couple of points clear of Skywalker, who didn't actually take part in Monaco or Switzerland. He was there for Silverstone and the Indy 500, however, was able to take victory in both. Then comes Boris Lipacek, Pedro Lopez, and Clayton, your top 5, Azetos, Mark, Alexander Gray, Josh Brooks, and SJS, your top 10. And very, very close indeed in the fight for the lead. Have we got Skywalker on the field today? Can't quite see. I don't think so. I don't think we've got him. So this is a perfect opportunity, really, for Costa to make some pretty good ground in the championship.
It definitely is. Not coming out during practice, where we will be held hostage for a while, it seems like. Now, GB Awesome is going into the La Source hairpin. Usually the first corner at the modern Spa-Francorchamps. Here, it is the last. It's the same. No, it's not the same for GT3s. It's who starts.
GT3 start on the Eau Rouge, going up into Eau Rouge and Radeon.
Yes, they do with a rolling start, but they count the start-finish straight as a start-finish straight. It's still like the same thing. They count their lap. Yeah, it's welcome. Endurance is weird. I don't know where to move in that. How to say it? Yeah, it's really weird. JB Awesomeness still hasn't somehow finished his lap, even though he went over the start finish line. So I hope there's a 2 minute limit. Otherwise, we'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, as you said, we'll be taken hostage, which is fair enough when it comes to Assetto Corsa. It's online really is a bit shaky in the sense that you will you just get stuck in overtime for ages because the game doesn't really know when to call it, and people can just do laps upon laps upon laps beyond the checkered flag, which whether they count or not, I don't know, but they can still drive around and keep us hostage in the session. But we'll hope that that doesn't quite happen today. I mean, we did get caught for quite a while when it came to the Swiss Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago, on the 25th of February, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and it was a pretty good race in all fairness, as I said. But yeah, the online on AC is a little bit strange. Fortunately, though, they did sort of revamp it for ACC and give it a countdown, which surely it just takes an update for Kudos to just add in a countdown for each session. I don't know. Surely it's an easy fix.
It's a game from 2014. You actually think that they will not focus on the main game, which is ACC, and now they're working on AC2. So yeah, I don't think they will like implement it right right now. So yeah, we will never see that in Assetto Corsa. Maybe when AC2 releases, that will be the whole thing.
I hope so. I really do hope so because honestly, I love driving Assetto Corsa. I love the mods, and all that. It's a fantastic game and it's a great tool for just getting out there and driving. I wish there was more ability to do more online races rather than just joining a league. You know, similar to what we have in iRacing or ACC, where you can join a lobby and just do some races with randoms online, as opposed to AC, where you're sort of forced to try and find a decent server or make one with your friends or join a league. You can't really just have the spontaneity of just joining the session. But maybe there's some things that Kudos can take into account for when it comes to Assetto Corsa number 2. But yeah, I love AC. I mean, one of my favorite things is the Race Sim Studio Formula 4 car. When they released that, and I remember just driving it around Brands Hatch, lap after lap after lap, because it is a lot of fun. AC is a really good game, but obviously just a couple of things that hold it back a little bit. Same with most Sims, to be fair, and that's sort of one of the big talking points between Sims is some of them are really good at some things, others aren't exactly the best at others either.
That's definitely true. And I think there just might be a problem with the track, as there is no way that Marto could have just gone through the start-finish straight and not have gotten a finish. So I guess we're just held hostage here because there's nothing else that can work. But yeah, how you said, AC is great for these things. GT3 races and everything. I said GT3. Formula 1 races, old F1, I don't know, old DTMs, like everything. Classic road car races. I don't know, you can do the NA Miatas on Highlands, which is a track here in Assetto Corsa, actually a base track that's made up. It's in Scotland. I know that combo really well, and it's a pain. It's pain. Yeah. So yeah, I would love to drive more of AC if my steering wheel actually worked. So yeah.
See, I had that same issue for a while.
Yeah.
My T300 just sort of gave up on life a couple of times, so I managed to invest in a new one. Got a Thrustmaster TX with the good old 2010 Ferrari add-on wheel, which is not bad. Not too bad for 400 quid off Facebook Marketplace, so can't complain. And it does the job. But the thing is it works on every other sim except for ACC, and it's a problem I had with my other wheel. Is the sense that my wheel just is way overly sensitive, and I can't find any way to fix it at all. I've asked loads of people. I've tried reinstalling the game. I've tried reinstalling my wheel. I've tried loads of different things, and it just doesn't work. So unfortunately, I don't have access to ACC, which is a big shame. But yeah, I mean, the getting involved in sim racing is always a lot of fun. I love driving, and I'd love to maybe get in some of these old F1 cars. They look very, very fun to drive.
Well, it's more of my pedals that are just that. These are my second pedals. Again, the plastic ones that come like with the DMX First feedback. They died again. Right now, I bought new earbuds So now I have to like wait, I don't know, a month or 3 months so I can just get new pedals. Because I actually want to buy like the metal ones from Trustmaster, the T3PA. I think that's their name, if I'm right. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, this will be very interesting for everything. While we are here, trapped on the one and only Spa-Francorchamps, then let's talk some history of Spa. Track that was created in 1921. That's old. How old is this track? 102 years. Has FIA grade 1, FIA grade 2, and FIM grade C. Of course, with these new improvements, the World Endurance Championship for bikes, for e-bikes, actually, can work here. And we are finally going to qualifying. Yes. So the first race happened after the First World War. Then 2 years later, actually no, after 1922, 2 years later came the famous 24 hours of Francorchamps. Only 1 year after Le Mans was host for single seaters for the European Grand Prix, which is really cool. We have a lot of iconic corners. I would love to take them. Do I have the drone mod? I don't think I do. No, I don't. I'm sorry. If I had the drone mod, we would take a little bit of the track, but you know the corner names: the La Source Hairpin, Eau Rouge, the Radion Complex, the Camel Strait, Lycom, which is now the tight chicane, going into Brussels, and from Brussels you go into No Name, which actually has a name, and I don't remember it.
It's got 3.
Has it
It's got
speak?
it's
Yeah.
it's got no names. It's got Speaker's Corner. It's got and it's got the Jackie X Corner as well. Spa is strange when it comes to corner names. It's
true. Yeah.
yeah, no name. It's got no name corner. It's got speakers and it's got Jackie X. It's got all 3 of them. And when it comes to the Campos, the Piff Paff chicane, then you've got Stavlo, Curveball, Frere, different names for those. And then you've also got Pouon, which is known as double gauche sometimes, which literally translates in French to double left, which makes sense. But yeah, Spa is a bit of a funny one when it comes to corner names.
Of course, Spa in Valleluna in the Ardennes Forest, the part of Belgium that speak French. Actually, there are 4, if I remember right, 4 languages. No, it's 3. 4 languages are in. That's Switzerland. Belgium main languages is Flemish, French, and German, if I'm
Yeah.
right. Let me check.
I think
Yes.
Flemish is a mix of both French and German.
Yeah, then 4 because it's then I forgot the name. It's not Hollandish. It's like
It's Dutch.
Dutch. Thank you. The people of Dutch will now try to kill me. That's great. Of course, the country separated into 3 provinces. I would say that's, I think, the main city capital, which is Brussels, spelled Bruxelles, Brussels. Then you have Valleluna, where they speak French, and then you have Flanders, where you actually speak Flemish. So yeah, very beautiful countries. I've been to Spa the same year. Just 2019, F1, F2, I think you can connect the dots together. I am not going to talk about it. It's not. I don't like to talk about it at all. So yeah, I'm just going to shut up about it.
And moving on, quite swiftly. Hey,
Beautiful track. Great to be there. Anton Ezelt, the first man on track, Costa behind him. Some people having troubles back in the track. Here you can see the beautiful countryside around the Ardennes Forest onto Hollowell Strait, and there we go. The outlaps have started.
very long outlaps. Basically, about 4.5 minutes for an outlap if they are going at normal pace, and then obviously might extend to maybe upwards of 5 minutes if not. But it's a long one here at the old Spa. As Michael said, about 14 kilometers in length, about 8.7 miles, up there in length with Circuit de la Start, as we said. It's a long one. A lot of it is spent flat out, in all fairness. You're not, going stop start all the time, but it is still quite a long one and translates to around about 4 minutes 15 seconds in terms of a decent representative lap time. But have to wait and see as to what people can do in the 30-minute qualifying session that we've got ahead of us. And of course, I mean, in all fairness, track position is not really going to mean a hell of a lot. I'll be completely honest. I think Spa, the way that it's just completely flat out for the majority of it, you can get away with having a poor qualifying. I don't know. What do you think, Michael?
You just say that Spa is flat. That the Ardennes Forest is flat.
No, not flat. I mean, like flat out.
Yeah. If you said it was flat, you would be so wrong. One of the major defenses during World War II, fun fact, was the Ardennes Forest.
100%. That's why the French didn't reinforce the Maginot 9 all the way up to the coast, because they thought the Ardennes was impenetrable. Turns out German tanks penetrated it, funnily enough. But yeah, there you go, fun fact.
Someone actually listened in his history lessons. Really good.
I got an A star in my history, thank you. I loved history. I'm a proper nerd, and I find the wars very interesting, but yeah.
So, we got some names that you might know. La Source, which I guess that's explainable. Eau Rouge, Radion, Camel, Lecom. Then I heard Malmedy because it's a town in Belgium and I lived in Belgium for 3 years. So I actually quite know. Wait, doesn't Malmedy mean sick in French?
I mean, mal means bad, so I suppose...
Malmedy... Yeah.
Because if you said you wanted a headache, you'd say j'ai mal à la tête, which means I've got a hurt in my head. So there we go. That's Anton Azatel having a bit of a off, and that is going to be a long way around before he can start another lap beyond that, which is not great, especially when you mess up your lap, because you really do have a long way to start another one. So that's not great for Azatel, who's going to have to again drive all the way around and do yet another lap beyond that. There's Costa blowing up his engine or locking up the tires, one or the other. There we go, sideways through and towards Lecom. That was breathtaking in of itself, but as you ride down the hill towards Haut de la Côte, whatever that means in French, a bit of a kink to the left, and then of course following it through the right, and then you're basically knocking on people's doorsteps as you run your way through Spa in the 1950s.
I actually really like this old Spa for this. It just goes through a village. It seems kind of special, and it is dangerous. Let's be real. That house looks kind of modern, or the 1950s. You have to agree with me on that. But yeah, just this part, it's a large straight with a kink in the middle, the Mazda kink. But yeah, then you have Tavelo, which is a household name for Spa-Francorchamps, one of the harder corners in Spa right here. It goes from a tight right turn to a almost like flat out, it expands out, going into Blanchimont, which is also a household name. The names that we don't have are actually Brussels, the Speaker's Corner, and the bus stop chicane, and maybe more, but I don't know about those because I'm too lazy to remember that.
Well, for modern Spa, you've got La Source, Eau Rouge, Radion, the Camel King, then you've got the Camel Straight, Lecom, you've then got Malmedy, then you go into, you call it Brussels, I call it Rivage, and then you go dip downhill through No Name, or Speakers, or Jackie Hicks, then you go downhill through Pouon, or the Double Gosh, whatever you want to call it, then you go downhill again into either the Campos chicane, the Piff Paff chicane, then into Stavelo, and then you either go into Stavelo 2 or Curve Paul Frere. Then you run your way all the way up into Blanchimont, and then it was bus stop chicane. Then you go down the pit straight, and then you go to the checkered flag for a lap of modern Spa. Whereas this one, it's very different. As Michael was saying, it's a bit special. We have still got Stavelo, we've still got Blanchimont, still got Radion, still got Eau Rouge, La Source, Camel, Lecom, obviously Malmedy. A little bit different though, of course, in the very, very top of the circuit. But yeah, it's been quite an interesting circuit dynamic that Spa has adapted throughout the very, very long lifespan. I think all the way back in 1921, it originally sort of became a racing circuit of sorts, and well, now it's been refined all the way down to what we know and love today. But Spa in of itself, the modern circuit, is very, very long, and yet this one is, I think, pretty much double the length of what we have in 2023.
It definitely is. And you actually, the Piff Paff corner, as you call it, that's the only name I remember that you called, is Lefon. Lefane? I'm not good at French.
Oh,
Then you go into
Lefania.
campus, yeah, then go into campus and then into Stavelot. And
Interesting.
yeah, you have to come okay. That's why I remember Malbedy, because it's actually a corner in Spa. I am not
is?
dumb.
There we go, ladies and
Seems
gents.
like it.
Michael Sifalda is not dumb. The more you know. That's why you tune into the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel, because you get riveting information as to whether or not Michael is intellectually capable or not. I mean, he's smart enough to know that the French didn't reinforce the Ardennes because they thought it was impenetrable. But he's not smart enough to know the fact that Malbedy is a corner in both the old and new Spa.
You
But
didn't
anyway,
know that as well. So
I did.
no, you didn't. You would
I
have
spoke
said
through the
it
lap.
is.
I spoke through the lap. I said where Malbedy was, and then I knew it was on here as well. So,
But
shush
I
mush.
remembered it as well, so I technically knew of it as well.
Okay. It's fine.
think
It's
that-
whatever.
I think that's a discussion for next time. But Costa leading a lap by 2 seconds.
It's a pretty big
On-
gap, pretty substantial gap. And to be fair, I say 2 seconds. It's a 14-kilometer circuit, so 2 seconds that can be made up quite easily. In all fairness, that's probably the equivalent of maybe half a second at another circuit.
It's all straight here. It's just gonna be a setup. As well, like I don't know. That's Hud de la Côte. So that's actually not a kind of a king that it shows on the map. It's more that someone's spinning out in the back. That's GR Noah. GB Awesomeness going through Burnaville. If you actually look, some of the houses actually look modern, but if you look from the side, then it looks old. That's the design of this track, and it's weird. I don't like it.
Perspective. It's a magical thing. Obviously, this was made by a third-party source, and obviously won't be 100% accurate because people who have any idea as to how to mod a circuit definitely were not around when Spa was in this stage. So they have to go off pictures and things like that, what they can get. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've done a pretty good job of making the circuit. To be fair, the majority of it is just track and trees, so there's not really much to miss, in all fairness.
Yeah, that's very true. If I can, there's only 2 camera angles, so I cannot do very much as well. That's great. Otherwise, this long track in the Ardennes Forest. Have you ever been to Spa?
No, I want to. Literally, the thing is now I'm nearly 17, so close. Literally next month. So put it in a month and a week. So if anyone wants to get me anything, you know where I am. Obviously, just drop me a message, wink, wink. But no, I'll be able to start driving next month, and I think as soon as I'm able to sort of get my black box off and get a decent car. I mean, I've got a Golf. To be fair, I quite like my Golf. But once I get a decent car, my sort of aim was to always like drive through Europe, and definitely going to Spa was one of the destinations on that, and then obviously to Nürburgring and things like that. Yeah, I really, really want to go to Belgium. My sister's been, and it just looked so awesome. So I really do want to go, but the age kind of gets in the way of that, unfortunately. So we just sort of have to wait for a bit, and then hopefully save up enough money to be able to go. But someone lived there for 3 years, so you know, I'm sure you can tell me all about it.
Yeah, Spice. Great, I can tell you all about it if you want to. I'll be gladly talking to you as well. But
I mean, we got 20
I will
minutes left
say-
to qualify.
I will say age is just a number because I am actually this summer I am traveling to Budapest. So with a train.
by yourself?
I am going alone. Yeah, because I'm going to a friend house. The friend lives in Budapest, so like,
And where you're? Is it Czech?
no, he's not a Czech. He is
No, I know you.
Hungarian. Yes.
Yeah, I know where Budapest is. It's in Hungary. Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
Czech. Wow, that's. Wait, I'm trying to think of the map of Europe. You're like you go up, right, to get to Hungary.
I go down.
That
I go
was
down
was
like right down. Yeah.
Is Czech? No, I don't know honestly.
Do you know what our capital is sometimes called, or we like to call it as that?
Czech
At least
Republic, I'm
the
trying to think.
Czechs.
You know what? I'm actually usually quite good with capitals.
Okay, what's the capital of Czech Republic?
Czech Republic, I don't know.
You got to be kidding.
If you tell me 100, is it? No, that's Croatia. I was gonna say Prague, but I don't think that's right.
Yes, Prague is right.
Is Prague? All right,
Yes.
sweet, banging.
The heart of Europe, because it's in this. We are Central Europe, and we are like in the middle of Central Europe. So Prague is sometimes called the heart of Europe. But Brussels is the heart of Europe because headquarters of NATO and European government and all these things are in Brussels, but still. Yeah. We have one of the most visited. I think we are 6th or 4th most visited. Most visited, not country, but just the city as Prague is like 6th or 4th most visited in the world. Behind London, Barcelona, and all these things.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what you said? You said London. You said London. So you know, just saying.
Of course,
we're
it
just-
is behind London. London is
We're just that good.
huge. I've been once
It
to
is.
London, and it's huge.
London, honestly, as sketchy as it is, but in certain places of London, it's pretty good. It's a pretty big country. I think it's somewhere in the range of like 6 to 7 million populants in London. I know it's very, very close to becoming a mega city, which is more than 9 million in population. The only one in Europe that has reached that, I think the only one in the world that's reached that is Paris. But yeah,
Makes
London
sense.
is definitely getting very, very big. It depends where you go. Some places are really, really well kept. Other places not so much. So that definitely depends as to which side of the UK that you see, because some of it is gorgeous. I mean, you go to the Scottish Highlands and you're like, oh wow, hills and mountains and rivers. And you go to Wales and it's like, oh my god, there's loads of mountains, there's loads of sheep. And then it's like, oh brilliant, England. And then you go to like Norfolk and it's just flat and it's just farmland. And then you go to Milton Keynes or Luton and it's just like, yeah, brilliant, like this is great. I'd rather just like not. And then you go to like the White Cliffs of Dover, and then you go to like Cornwall and places, and it's actually really pretty. So the UK is very much a weird country in that regard. So I don't actually get what the appeal is. I don't get why people love the UK so much, because it's really not that great.
I actually like Scotland better than the UK. Edinburgh is so beautiful. I like these old textures and that, and also the tale of Graveyard's Bobby is just super cute. It's like Hachiko but older. It's like it's cute and everything. And it's great. I just loved Edinburgh as well. Really.
You know, I've
cool
never
town.
been to any other country in the UK. I've never been to Wales. I've never been to Scotland. I've never been to Northern Ireland. The only time I've ever been abroad was when I went to Florida. So I haven't actually experienced any of the UK, which is really sad because I want to. But
You want
yeah.
to hear the countries that I have traveled to. Because you are going to feel pretty sad that
Yeah,
the
but
guy that's
you're
older than
mainland
you.
Europe. You've got people like right next door to you. You can just travel. Whereas I'm just like, yeah, I'm stuck on my little island somewhere.
You still have a really good network with those people that are up the beaches with you. It's like you just go through the, I want to say pond. If you go through the pond, you go to America. If you go over the river, you have access to Belgium, France, and any of these beautiful countries. Like there is nothing stopping you.
That's true. That's true. Well, money, obviously. So
Well,
I
yes,
need
but
to.
still.
I need to pick up some more commentary gigs. I think is the aim there, and then get a move on and get into Europe, because honestly, get me out of the UK. Particularly with the crisis that we're in right now. However, we won't focus on that. We'll focus on the qualifying session at hand, because Costa is on a pretty decent lap right now. His Sector 1 and Sector 2 were both purple, fairly evenly matched as well, about 1 minute 15.6 in length for the pair of them. So it's looking pretty good to improve upon his time. He runs through the final corner of La Source, which is weird calling it the final corner because it's not, it's the first one. But on the run downhill towards the line, past the pit lane, of course. And it is going to be very, very close, I believe, in terms of his lap time across the line. Is that 4:13.8? That very much well and truly is. That ferments him in terms of pole position, stopping to the side of the road. That was brilliant stuff. Boris Lipacek also on a pretty decent lap time, green through all three sectors, and was able to get himself up into third place with a 4:17.187. So the top three separated by about 3.5 seconds, which obviously to some people is like, that's a lot. That's a good 3 seconds. But around a circuit that's as long as this, it's really, in reality, it's not that much. And when you think that Costa and JB Awesomeness are separated by only a couple of seconds as well, there's still potential for a decently close race. But, well, sideways moments like that into the hay bales for Boris Lipacek, and he's lucky, 100% is very, very lucky that he's not actually sat in that car.
I hope that Boris doesn't have VR, because oh god, that would have been uncomfortable. It was just uncomfortable watching it from that point of view. Oh, I would have puked. God, I don't know how about any other driver, but yeah, that would be a lot of stress on you in VR, in these cars as well. If you look on the point of view, we actually can get a good view. Like, this is what you see in VR, basically.
Yeah, but also you're moving with every small vibration, and every time your head moves, you move as well. It's honestly, I've never been able to drive in VR, and I would love to. But again, I can't be bothered to fork out for a VR headset and make it all work and all that shenanigans. But yeah, VR seems like it would be very, very scary, very, very immersive, but definitely very, very scary. Whether it be quicker or slower or not is remains to be seen. But yeah, definitely a little bit scary in terms of going through in VR. But again, I'd love to see it. But that's the thing as to why VR headsets, they don't do it for no reason. They say do 2 hours and then have a break. Otherwise, you are going to start feeling very, very nauseous.
Yeah, it's a rule that should be respected for sure. Otherwise, Costa, how he said, 3 seconds ahead. It's still a good gap, but as you saw, Pedro Lopez, if he just went a little bit more straight through those turns. It was before Clubhouse, so I can look on the map. Because I don't know the coordinates very well. If he went through Bashimon smoothly, then he could have got a really good run, and maybe just the 3 seconds that he needed to go onto the pole position. But now he doesn't improve on his lap, and we'll see. Zach, do you want to take one of these drivers for a lap around Spa?
It's a long lap.
I know.
But I'll do my best. I mean, they're spending a lot of it flat out, but as you can see, JB Awesomeness flat out through Malmedy as he runs his way down through Marzo. Has had a crash with the environment, so once again proving that Spa is a very, very tricky circuit indeed. Once you exit Malmedy, you head yourself down the Master Straight in, well, incredible speeds, 260 kilometers an hour in what is basically a tin can. For JB Awesomeness, and now running his in towards the Master Kink, which is a bit of a shaky one because you're coming in at some of the car's top speeds, and it's not actually going to respect you a whole lot in terms of downforce. Able to keep it committed though is JB as he runs his way once again back to full throttle as you go down the Hollowell Straight and then into, funnily enough, Hollowell Corner a little bit after that. But of course the Ferrari. Oh, which one is it? I want to say the 1-2. I don't want to look at the live timing because it's going to tell me. I want to say it's the 125, and I'm right. Go me. I can remember stuff. That is JB Awesomeness nearly into the barrier, and that was very, very close. Unfortunately, that might have tarnished his run just a little bit through Stavlo. to round off the middle part of the circuit. He's 2.9 seconds down on his time. 2 orange or yellow sectors through sector 1 and 2. So no improvements going the way of JB Awesomeness, who unfortunately is still waiting to try and improve upon his best lap time. But he's not got very long to do it. Only 7.5 minutes left of qualifying, which means that, of course, they are approaching what should be, in theory, minus the whole overtime shenanigans, one of their final laps in this qualifying session.
Of course, JB, be careful. There are people standing there. You almost ran over those 2 ladies. If it was real life,
Group
of
B
course
rally.
it's not. Yes, I wanted to say that Group B was famous for this as well. Costa back on an outlap, so we will see what they can do as well. I love this camera point of view. Can you see just how the tires... Wait, where is it? Here. Just how the tires, how this all looks. The tires look almost sanded from this point of view. It like almost looks like they're flat. Oh, that's... Ooh.
Thank God they're not solid.
Welcome to AC. It's not solid. So yeah, we...
Straight
lucky
through it.
boy.
If in doubt, flat out. If you're gonna crash, you might as well crash with style. So if you're gonna hit something, hit it flat out. Why not? But yeah, sometimes with AC, some of those bollards are actual things. Other times they're not, and you've really got to pick and choose as to which, you got to weigh up the risks as to whether you really want to chance it. But JB a little bit wide, obviously going through Blanchimont, through the La Source hairpin. Do you know what? You've made me think now. Is it called La Source because it's the source of the river that runs under Eau Rouge and Radion? Or am I just being silly?
I'm going to search it up. You continue because I'm
you know what?
interested.
Because you said earlier you know why it's called La Source, and then I was like, no, I don't. So I started thinking, I was like, why is it called La Source? And then I was
Did
like,
I
well,
actually
Eau Rouge
ask that?
means, Eau Rouge means red water, which a bit of a river. So I was like, is La Source the source of it? Is it where it starts? I don't know. I've never questioned it before. You've made me question corner names, Michael. No one has ever done that before. I don't know what to think about it, but yeah, interesting stuff. I'm sure you get us confirmation on that very, very shortly as to why it's actually called La Source. But yeah, interesting stuff, of course, as we see Costa on his outlap. As it stands, is taking a pretty decent pole position. I mean, by what is a good 2.9 seconds clear of JB Awesomeness, I think he's only looking to improve upon that. A couple of crashes. I mean, Ross Lipacek, unfortunately, having a couple of crashes. Same too with Sen. We get them pinging up on our live timing, of course, which is handy to know as to when people have and haven't crashed. But yeah, Costa out on an outlap, and it will be his final one of the session, touch wood. So the Portuguese driver on a run of form, leading the championship, of course. He's looking to improve. And what have you found?
La Source, also called the hairpin source corner, is the first challenge to be taken on following the start. Designed in a U-shape, it is the slowest corner on the circuit. Of course, that's really dangerous. Vivi Poop, get out of the track as well. It draws its name from the various water sources in the region and particularly in the spa area. So it is a source for water under that corner. That's
Interesting.
cool.
So is it the source of the river or is it the source of the circuit?
It's the source of like the water for the spa area. Like for...
Interesting, nice.
Let me actually get a little
You know
bit
what?
more.
I'm actually well proud of myself. The fact that I managed to figure that out. I'm chuffed. I'm well happy because you started talking about how it's the first corner. I was like, oh, maybe it's the source of the circuit. Like it's the start of the circuit. It's turn number 1. I don't know, something along those lines. But yeah, interesting stuff as we once again ride on board with Costa through Clubhouse Corner, which is towards the back end of the circuit, of course. Maybe looking to improve, but yeah, in towards the final corner of La Source. So obviously not the source of the circuit in this rendition of the Spa-Francorchamps, going very, very wide to put his foot to the floor, and even on a 4-minute lap time, he's still trying to eke out just that little bit of extra performance coming off the final corner.
Every
Or not.
part of the track counts. Of course,
As,
even the ditch counts, I guess. And actually, do you know why Eau Rouge is named Eau Rouge?
Because it's red water that flows underneath it, yeah.
Yes, good, at least.
Translates to red. It translates to water red in French. You know what? They said I told myself I would never use my French GCSE ever, but using it in commentary, I've used it so much that I'm actually regretting not revising more for it. Because I know so much, but obviously when I commentate Le Mans and Spa and things like that, it's kind of a good thing to know French, bit of French. But yeah, look at me go. I'm like I'm firing off on all cylinders. You know, just ping them at me and I'll tick them off. I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the little pop quizzes you're giving me. It's great.
Oh, do you know actually why Speaker's Corner is called Speaker's Corner? Because it's the only place that this curve can be actually seen from the former speaker booth.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Have you just got like a little Spa facts list in front of you or something?
there's on actual Spa Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps website. The corners of Spa-Francorchamps Simpers from the 23rd of, I forgot the name of the month, which is the 8th month. No, wait, August.
August?
Yes, good. Still remember that. From August 2018, and it's like, what are the corners named after?
Cool.
Pines is named after a small village. So I think Pines might be actually one of the villages that we drive through here on the Old Spa.
Potentially so. Again, I don't really know too much about historic Spa. I know a lot about current Spa, but obviously not the old one because it's not often used in sim racing. Obviously, that's different for the rival racing league because these guys care about history and want to bring the nostalgia back and bring the old cars back into the limelight. But yeah, it's the old renditions. Actually, to be fair, I do remember doing an old endurance league on R Factor 2. Where they use the olden day Formula 1 cars as well, and it was here at Spa. So that's, but in all fairness, I've been in commentary for around about 2.5 years, and I can only recall two times that I've ever commentated on the old edition of Spa. So take that as you will in terms of the scarcity and seeing the old circuit used as we ride on board with JB Awesomeness, who he himself is on one of his final laps of the day. On his previous start, it's sector 1 wasn't the best. I'm sure that we will refresh as soon as he hits the initial sector mark, which shouldn't be too far away from him as he approaches just over the minute mark. We'll see as to the improvement going the way of JB as he runs his way through in towards the sector line after Bournonville. We'll see when the timing refreshes. It doesn't look to be the best split time. It isn't. It's a 1:16.565, which is yellow. So no improvement going the way of JB Awesomeness, which means qualifying around Spa is very, very tricky as we tick over into overtime. As the checker flag is waved, that means qualifying is over. Boris Lipachak, Marzo, Baron, Vivup, and obviously those in the back end of the field, Mark, Pierre, and Noah. And of course yourself have not been able to take to the track anymore. They've crossed the checkered flag, so we're waiting for the final couple of people to cross the line to finally set their final laps in qualifying.
Of course, one more fact, and it's Buon or Double Gosh, as you know it more. Which the word Buon actually means the place where the water springs from, where the water spring is from. So it's like where the water spring starts is Buhan.
Nice.
So the source of the spring is Buhan. The actual name of the corner, I don't know if there's a water spring underneath it. I'm not sure about that. If anybody wants to know, take some more digging around it, and I hope that we would love to know. Or at least I would love to know. I don't know. How about Zach?
I like the quick little facts. I mean, it helps when it comes to commentary because things get a little bit boring. You can just take them off. It's like, yeah, cool. Did you know this? Yeah, and then you can talk about it for a little while. So it helps to fill out a little bit. But yeah, no, I mean, I like the cool little facts. They're good to know, particularly when I get slated for my lack of track knowledge from fellow commentators, the likes of Lewis McGlade, Cameron Roger, Ewan O'Leary, who love to absolutely batter me if I don't know anything about circuit. It's one of their favorite things. So I like being able to get one back at them and trying to fire back with some quick little snarky facts about the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps, as we follow Costa through Clubhouse. Very, very sideways. Not the best of laps going the way of the man from Portugal. This was the last horse hairpin to round off his qualifying session. Then, of course, we'll go to a 35-lap race. Or was it 34? I think it's 35. And then we should be around about, I want to say about 2.5 hours in length overall, which definitely gives us plenty of time to sink our teeth into the action. Plenty of racing action along the way as well, as Costa brings himself across the line. He takes pole position by what is a fairly comfortable margin ahead of JB.
That's a pretty big, comfortable margin of 3 seconds. But yeah, the start will be pretty amazing if I'm right. If I can get a good look, JB Awesomeness is not in the pits. Because, yeah, then we'll have to wait maybe for Pedro Lopez or someone. They might actually be starting 3 in a row, as in Silverstone. Not really sure right now, actually. Don't know how the old Spa-Francorchamps starts. So yeah, that's for sure. One of the questions that will be answered coming our way. Pedro Lopez, the only one on track with the beautiful time of 4 minutes and 20 seconds and 72 thousandths. Going into the Lasors hairpin. And down the start finish straight he goes.
And hopefully this will spell an end to qualifying. As lovely of a session as it was, gave us plenty of time to talk about some weird and wonderful things. It would be nice to get ourselves into some racing action across the line, and I don't think that's going to be any improvement from Pedro Lopez to see him any higher. So it is going to be a second row start. Once again, the other man from Portugal, who sees himself starting from 4th place, of course, in this race, which should be in a few moments' time. However, the game hasn't actually registered him as taking the checkered flag, so he's able to continue on again and again and again and again. So hold your horses, because we might be in for a while before we take to the race.
I know why Ryan Skywalker isn't here, because the times of this league actually line up with when the electricity cuts out in South Africa. So yeah, it's not really fortunate for him. But yeah, the Portuguese driver Pedro Lopez is going into the pits because he knows we cannot be here forever. We are going to finally go into the race.
Have we finally changed sessions? Not yet, but we're almost there.
Bit.
We're almost there. Everyone's in the pit lane. Everyone's waiting for the game to tick over. So, fingers crossed. Let's hope that things go all well and they can actually get themselves to the race. A long race ahead, of course, and quite a decisive one for the championship today. And Costa wanting to make as much ground up over Skywalker as much as possible. Of course, his form has been absolutely sensational. Is the man from Portugal who, as it stands, has taken 3 podiums and a 6th place last time out in Switzerland. And, well, that is only 1 podium, 1 victory less than Skywalker. The consistency definitely is there, because Costa, funnily enough, actually turns up to the races. No offense to Skywalker, of course, because the 2 races he's turned up to, he's actually won. And, well, there's someone doing some lovely bit of... Oh, there we go. 2 people doing some donuts. There we go.
I'm trying to figure out who it is.
I know Belgium love their waffles, and their street waffles. Street waffles are absolutely lovely. I didn't know they did donuts as well.
I'm going to figure it out this way. It's JB Awesomeness. Some awesome donuts. Show more donuts. If you want to.
Here we go. Right hand down. Around it goes. Beautiful. Almost. It wants to. It wants to. It's not. It's stalling a little bit. There we go. There's some beautiful donuts. He's drawn 2, 3 right next to each other, and then he goes again back down the pit lane once more. Bit of donuts. There we go. Lovely jubbly. It's not even the end of the race. We're seeing people doing donuts. Yeah, they're definitely burning through their overtime time quite well. and definitely no complaints from me, in all fairness. And there we go, did a bit of lawn mowing as well for good measure. So, obviously the Belgians or anyone in Belgium can do some waffles, they can do some donuts, they can do some good old trusty lawn mowing as well to get yourself a good business. But everyone's back into the pit lane, everyone's been reset, which tells me they're about to line themselves up on the grid.
Let's hope so. I want to say you could enjoy a quick beer as well, but don't drive and drink. Really dangerous things. Don't do that. It's not good. So yeah. Boris
Or maybe they
now.
weren't reset to the pit lane because Pedro Lopez is out on circuit. A set of course of things, ladies and gents. I mean, I don't like slating sims because most of the time there's not really anything that goes wrong or whatever, and sometimes the sims do really well. And as we said earlier, I really do enjoy driving on a set of course. I think it's a fantastic sim. The graphics, the cars, the sounds, the atmosphere, whatever you want to say, and the modding capabilities as well is fantastic. However, when it comes to swapping sessions, my oh my, is it just a little bit annoying, and of course obviously puts a stall on the action for us in the commentary booth. And there we go, Pedro Lopez doing some pretty interesting lines through Lacom. Almost was a drift, but I think he ran out of talent halfway through.
What's her damage? Talent. As Lando Norris said, I think it was 2021 or 2020 Austrian Grand Prix. So yeah.
It was indeed. Look at you being you're whipping out all the facts today, Michael. I'm proud of you. You're really you're coming in here with all the race facts. It's great, but yeah, honestly, some of the time you do just run out of talent, which is fair enough because
Oh, you do
everyone's
as
been
well. So yeah, let's be real. Even the pros have to have their cons, and even
I remember
pros.
watching one of the Esports Racing World Cup over on VCO, and they did a race around Bathurst on a set of course in the Mercedes, and I can't actually remember who exactly was it. I think it was Gregor Schill maybe, who was celebrating a fairly decent win. I mean, there were only about 8-minute races, and he'd won by a couple of seconds. He was celebrating a little bit, weaving going into the final corner at Bathurst, and then put the throttle down a little bit too early and spun on the final corner, which lost him the win and obviously knocked him out of the whatever it was, whether the semi-finals or the quarterfinals or whatever, and didn't do his team very many favors. So yeah, that happens as an example of what happens to the pros when they run out of talent. They can bottle it on the final lap of the race for a race victory, which is obviously not great as we wait eagerly for the race to get itself underway. And I think finally we're almost there.
Come on. Yes, I was right. It's 3 wide. Coming down to Auguste. You can see how
Beautiful.
slanted. Oh, that's a cool shot. Actually, I will use this. How slanted the track is. It's quite mesmerizing. The round down into Auguste is just the downhill.
Yeah, Eau Rouge is the dip down, and then obviously Radion is the climb up. But very much is an undulating circuit. We're waiting, obviously, for the 6 red lights, I think it is, on a set of course to illuminate as we see the countdown in the top middle of the screen. About 50 seconds left to go. So what I will say is, as I'll ask you the question, who's coming out on top today? Michael, who do you think is actually going to take the victory?
Ooh. Anything can happen. It's a 14-kilometer track. One mistake and that can end it all. It can be in the middle of the track, no one cares. I'm going to put myself on the line and actually going to say maybe Pedro Lopez.
You think?
Might win the whole thing. Not into turn 1, but he might win the whole thing if he drives without a mistake. So instead he wins the race. So we will see what that goes. 6 lights on. 6 lights off, and off we go into Eau Rouge. Down we go. Up to the stream of Eau Rouge. 3 down, Costa, JB Awesomeness, and Boris Leipzig. Boris Leipzig going down into Eau Rouge, into the first place. Erzio tapping the wall up there into Radion. Boris Leipzig is first. Then Pedro Lopez is third, and I forgot who is in the middle of them. It's Costa as well. My leaderboard's still not showing up. JB Awesomeness actually taking third place, fourth place Pedro Lopez, and fifth place is Marzo.
Yeah, well, they rise up the hill towards Lecom, of course, and Costa is actually on the back foot, trying to get his way back past as they run their way in towards Lecom, the left-hander. Side by side, just in behind as Marzo tries to work his way past Pedro Lopez for fourth place overall. Everyone trying to settle their way into this race as quickly and as efficiently as possible. We do not want to lose the slipstream at all when it comes to racing around here. Very much is straight line speed orientated, but Boris Lipacek is doing a fantastic job in hanging on to the race lead so far in the early stages of this race. However, it is very, very closely followed by Costa. And then, of course, JB Awesomeness and Pedro Lopez just in behind that as well, fighting over what is third place as they run their way through once more into Bernonville. And Lipacek is still doing a pretty good job of retaining that track position ahead of Costa. I mean, they are very close, and here comes Costa actually side by side as they run their way through Malmedy, through the left, then of course the right. There is Lipacek all the way around the outside. Great bit of space between the pair of them, showing some fantastic mutual respect as they run their way through the downhill weaving section. Are they going to emerge from the tree side by side? No. The advantage goes the way of the Portuguese driver of Costa, who inherits the race lead once more after starting from pole position. Caught out just a little bit, but once again back in front. Now they run their way down the Masto straight, and well, what we've got is Costa, Lipacek, JB Awesomeness, and Lopez all in a bit of a train here as Lopez looks to the outside.
So going side by side with JB Awesomeness, there's something going on into the Master King. Those two going almost side by side, nowhere near touching. This track is really big, of course. Not only length-wise, but thick as well. Pedro Lopez getting in front of JB Awesomeness. It's some really great overtaking going on in these straights. The Hollowell Straight, of course, one of the bigger straights here in Spa-Francorchamps. And that's almost about the fuse. Maybe the slipstream JB Awesomeness can go. Oh! I thought that was a lag. No, it's the both drivers, JB Awesomeness and Pedro Lopez. The one guy that I thought could win the race throws it out, my prediction, out of the window and crashes in the first lap with JB Awesomeness.
Huge crash. I mean, you're going very, very quickly into what was, I believe, Hollowell or Stavolo, and yeah, you're carrying a lot of speed, so no brainer that they came together, of course. And that's unfortunate because it puts a big shadow over the remaining parts of this race for them. But we turn our attention to the fight for first between Costa and Boris Lipacek. The gap is around about 1.5 seconds between the Portuguese driver and the Croatian driver of Lipacek, who is following quite well in tow. However, is losing a bit of time here and there, bit by bit. I mean, whether it's a case of the Ferrari having a little bit more power down the straights relative to the Alfa Romeo, because even the smallest of discrepancies really is going to help them. And talking of engine power, obviously when drivers have a collision into the barrier at over 40 kilometers an hour, they get themselves a 5% engine reduction penalty, which around a circuit like Spa, I really wouldn't want.
Yeah, it's here. I don't have my cursor on. If I had my cursor on the stream, if you look, I think it's in the RES, there is now 0 for Boris Lipacek and 0 for Costa. Now if you look into JB Awesomeness, he has 5 since he crashed one time. And this is the thing that you will have to look for in the stream, otherwise we will say it on the stream as well, to notice if anyone has resistor or not. And it will be very interesting. Of course, no mistake should be made on the almost straight Spa-Francorchamps, as I say that with him. I guess goes into the wall at very high speeds. Not very comfortable here for this circuit. And yeah, we'll tell you if something changes or a battle is going on with resistors.
Yeah, as we follow the battle as it stands for third place between Marzo and Anton Zaitel. Both of them running up the hill through Radion, of course. The dip there on the right-hand side, very, very scary. That's why they can't really use a lot of runoff in the modern-day Eau Rouge Radion complex because, well, there's about a massive drop right to the right-hand side of it. They don't have much margin to actually move unless they sort of unless they obviously landscape it and terraform the actual place around it to accommodate more tarmac runoff. But that is very, very time consuming, very, very expensive, and takes a lot of resources to do. So they probably won't be able to do that. But yeah, it just goes to show how difficult and tricky the Eau Rouge Radeon complex is, and why it's become so loved in motorsport throughout the years as they run their way through Haute de la Côte. And running through again the right-handing sweeper of where they should be. It should be flat out in theory as they run their way through into Burnhamville, probably one of the most important corners on the circuit to set you up for that very, very long straight in towards Malmedy, and then of course that run down the Master Straight as well. But Anton Azatel not quite able to get close enough. He needs to really try and close the gap. The hovering around about 3/4 of a second, 7 and a bit tenths between the two as they go into Malmedy uphill, and then you dip back down again to start the Master Straight. Bit of a tap to the wall from Marzo could allow Anton Azatel to maybe close the gap, because that small dip in momentum could definitely see Anton Azatel work his way back up towards the podium places for the German driver. And of course, that is definitely coming into fruition right now, because the gap is closing at an absolute rate of knots. Still in the slipstream, of course, of Marzo, but I don't think he's quite going to be able to find any way through before the kink.
Seems like my cursor is visible on stream now, so Streamlabs is having a laugh with me. Great. Otherwise...
Very British of you.
Well, yeah, I have to say something. It's turned... Yeah, no, I'm going to deal with that after. Yep, so the race going on, Anton crashing out. Not really fortunate for him. Noah and Enzo, the two guys that are closest onto track, the American and the I don't know. We don't have a nationality for Noah. 3 drivers who have already quit the race, as well JB Awesomeness and Pedro Lopez, who have crashed together as we saw, and Vivek, who crashed on his own. Here you go, GRR Noah just flying by Enzo as there was just nothing. Just flew by. It seemed like Enzo actually has 5 restrictors, so does Noah, and Noah actually drifts a little bit. I don't think you are supposed to go there, mister. Into the bushes he went.
I would agree. In the sense that it's probably better to be facing the right way without tyre smoke, and obviously not in someone's window. Poor Mrs. Greenacre's trying to take a bath, and well, here comes a Ferrari straight into your window of GRR and Noah. Whether that's an acronym or you have to pronounce it as Gura Noah, either way, I'm only going to call him Noah. As you work your way in towards Hollowell, the quick right-hander, and there we go, straight into someone's living room, spins it back round, brings it pointing the right way, or does he? No, he doesn't. That is a big, big time loss, unfortunately, from the, well, we'll call him the man of the world, because we don't actually know as to where he's from, but he rejoins the circuit there in 8th place, and, well, really not getting off to the best of starts, in all fairness. That is, well, let's say suboptimal.
Into the pit straight after he crashed. They're going to lose him so much positions. Oh no. Here's Costa, which is actually the game registers that Marzo is first. He is not. The game is tripping a little bit because he went into the pit lane so quickly. Yeah. If you do that in ACC, you get a penalty. Do I remember right? Is that right?
What's that?
If you in ACC, if you go in a race from the pits, you get it. Your controls are locked.
Yeah, so different sims do different ways. iRacing, if you escape back to the pit lane after crashing, you get what is called a tow time as well. Into the barrier goes one of the lapped cars. Is that a V up maybe, or Marzo, or someone, or rather is. Yeah, Costa works his way past them. No way he's already putting a lap on them. I don't believe that for one bit.
I said it. You should listen, because I said that Marzo went into the pit lane. That confused the game, and Costa went right after him. Here you go, a commentator that never listens, Zach.
Hey, listen, right, all right. I have selective hearing. I hear the things I want to hear, and when it comes to Michael's voice, it's definitely not something I want to hear. No, I'm kidding. That was a bit harsh. I do apologise. He's only little, bless him. He's only 15 years old, so can't be too harsh, the poor fella. But yeah, no, probably should have been paying better attention. I'll give you that one. Touche. Fair enough. But yeah, I was just a little bit confused there for a second. I was taken aback just a little bit. But yeah, back to the whole like iRacing and sims and turning things. Obviously, when it comes to iRacing, before I make myself look like an idiot again, iRacing, if you escape the circuit, you get what's called a tow, which is, depending where you are on the circuit, if you're right at the start, it's going to be quite a long tow. If you're towards the end, it's going to be quite a short tow. But it basically simulates a tow truck taking you back to your pit box. When it comes to ACC, if you escape back to the pit lane and try and drive it, locks your controls for, say, I think it's about 30 seconds to a minute. And then obviously in AC, I don't really think there's much penalty other than you have to restart the lap that you were already on. Or yeah, I think that's the case. You have to restart the lap that you were on. So if you're on lap 4 and you got to the end of the lap and then went back to the pit lane, you'd have to do the entirety of lap 4 all over again, which is harsh but definitely fair, and probably a lot more lenient than some other games give you. Yeah, well, I don't think you necessarily get a penalty. You just lose a whole lot of time when it comes to AC.
Actually, some servers, if I know right, actually have that you have lock controls, but after like, I don't know, you have a broken engine or something and you just want to go back, then it actually, I think sometimes it actually does lock your controls. So it may be server, if I'm right, or I don't know, because it's weird. It's AC, but yeah, maybe it has to be set up in a server. I don't know. There is not much happening on track. Costa lap into track with, I don't know what lap times. I don't have live timings on. Can you please tell me that?
What's that?
Costa is lap into track at 4:19.8. That's his last lap as well.
There we go. I was going to leave you in the dark. I was going to make you figure out for yourself. But yeah, the last lap was a 4:19.8, which also coincidentally was his fastest lap of the race and the fastest of anyone by a significant margin. He's now 8 seconds clear of Boris Lipacek, and well, to no surprise from anyone, in the sense that the previous lap for Boris Lipacek was a 4:24.1 as opposed to Costa with a 4:19.8. So a big discrepancy of about 4.3 seconds, I want to say. Yeah, my maths is right. There we go. And that's including the fact that Costa is 5 kilometers an hour slower down the straights in terms of top speed. 273.1 kilometers going the way of the Ferrari 125. 278.16 kilometers an hour going the way of the Alfa Romeo in the hands of Boris Lipacek. So what that tells us is that the Croatian has a bit more legs down the straight. However, Costa's a little bit more brave, a bit more punchy in the corners, which is allowing him to gain so much time relative to his rivals that, in all fairness, I know it's only the opening moments. I know we've still got 32 laps left of this race. I do not see anyone getting close to Costa unless he fluffs it up himself. Well, the lap time says 32 because let's not forget we have to do lap 4 as well and the last lap as well. So it sort of adds it. Yeah, the math is strange, but you always have to take into account this. It's the lap you're on taken away from the total laps plus 1 because of the last lap. You actually did the last lap. So trying to question me, Michael. Honestly,
that's actually why F1 does lap like before they start the formation lap actually brings the count that they start on lap 1 and not on lap 0.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Yeah, but of course then you have to start from the pit lane, or Hungary 2021 can happen as well. So only track on car. Yeah, I'm great. Definitely car on track. With Lewis Hamilton in the slicks going into the wet. No, actually.
He was on it.
On the slicks? No,
he was on
the wet,
Inters.
going on Inters. On a pretty dry track, so yeah. An amazing race as well. But we are in Spa, we are not in Hungary. Not on Hungaroring, so getting back to Spa-Francorchamps. That's someone spun out. That's Marzo. He still hasn't given up. It's really great to see. And there's much more of the race to go on.
There is a long way to go, because Noah has had a pretty hefty crash with the environment. It's flashing up on our timings, a 109.15 kilometer an hour crash, which is upwards of, I think, about 80 to 90 miles an hour for those of you in using the Imperial system. It's not the fastest in the world, but it's a pretty hefty crash. And obviously that's going to inhibit Noah's ability to drive very fast around the Ardennes streets in the heart of Belgium. As we follow on with Costa running his way through Stavro, a very, very long, very, very fast corner. It looks very, very fun in the sense that that slip angle of the Ferrari 125 is looking pretty hefty. And I've got to be honest, that looks like he's basically just power sliding that car all the way around.
Power sliding, a really good technique that's used in, guess what? Karting. I say it again, the third race that we stream for this, the first time that I mentioned karting. Also, that's why every motorsport, every biggest racer starts in go-karts, because it teaches you the basics of how to turn and drive fast. It's cool. I like karting.
Karting is a very, 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 very good thing. And similar to sim racing in the sense that, as you're right, it teaches you the fundamentals. It teaches you how to push the throttle, how to push the brakes, and obviously how to turn the steering wheel and follow racing lines and things like that. But also beyond that, the mental side of things, when to go for moves, when not to go for moves. If you're involved in a championship, training you to deal with the pressure of a championship, all can be learned through both karting and through sim racing. Which are very, very, very transferable skills as you progress yourself up in the ranks in terms of motorsport. Very, very useful skills to have because, well, if you are any good, you find yourself in a championship. You don't want to bottle it under the pressure and find yourself on a bad run of form. And also, it helps if you're going to, if you want to do well, it helps to be able to actually drive the car in a good manner. But yeah, karting it depends on the. As we see Enzo there have a big
Enzo.
off straight into the window of someone's poor kitchen. There we go, rejoining the circuit, which was, well, questionable at the very least for Enzo, seeing them into the barrier as we focus on Noah again through Malmedy. But yeah, it seems that a lot of people are taking some fairly hefty incidents going through some pretty hefty corners as well. But yeah, about karting, yeah. It teaches you the fundamentals, of course, and it depends on the track conditions, in all fairness, because in my experience, smooth is faster when it comes to karting. As soon as you have a bit of a power slide, a bit of a slide, you lose a lot of momentum. But obviously, when you go into corners, you want to lock the rear brakes a little bit, use the brakes to rotate the car, particularly as well in the wet weather. The braking in karting is more of a skill than anything. Being able to utilize the brakes, because obviously they don't have a ton of downforce. They rely on weight transfers and obviously the sheer rotation of the car to actually make it around the corners relatively quickly. And obviously the majority of go-karts only being rear brake systems. If you can lock the rears, you can get the back end out. You can use that to rotate the rear and carry it around the corner, as opposed to relying on slowing the car down, turning the front. You sort of counter the understeer with a bit of oversteer, which, if you can control it and, keep your speed up, keep your minimum revs up and not slide overly too much, can actually be very, very beneficial in keeping the overall lap time up. And, well, in cars like these, they are pretty much glorified go-karts in the sense that they've got no downforce, very, very skinny tyres, and not the strongest of brakes. So you do have to drive it like one in some regards, I suppose.
Definitely have. And actually, power sliding is faster for you than drifting. That's common knowledge as well. But power sliding is mostly used here, and it's in all cars. And how you said, when you're braking to turn in more, what class of cars is that used in? Zach.
Braking to
turn in more.
All of them.
More, I have noticed a lot of GT3 drivers actually doing that a lot. So GT3s is one of the right answers. You don't want to do that in F1 that much.
No, 100%. No, you still use the brake pedal to monitor the front end. Obviously, you have to think that the car's moving and the car's got mass, it's got velocity, so therefore it's got inertia. And obviously, when you press the brake pedal, everything's still in the car. All the weight of the car still wants to travel all the way to the front. So when you brake, everything shifts to the front. When it shifts to the front, that's obviously where the steering axle is. As Boris Lajbacek has a big ol' off there through Stavolo, spinning his way around, tapping the barrier. 47 kilometers was the first one, 18 was the other. So he is going to see himself with a 5% engine reduction penalty as well, which is not great, of course, losing himself quite a hefty bit of time to Costa, and also Anton Azetul just in behind him. But yeah, you have to think that as soon as you brake, all the weight goes to the front of the car, which allows you to be a little bit more maneuverable. Of course, yes, you don't want to brake and turn at the same time because that is just silly. But obviously, if you monitor the pressure that you're putting on with the brake pedal relative to the amount of steering input that you're doing, you're balancing the weight transfer to the front of the car and allowing it to have a decent amount of slip angle. I actually had to write a college assignment on this, on slip angle, and how obviously the rear of the car will want to step out relative to the direction of travel. And if you can hit that in a perfect window, the tires actually have the most grip when they're just about to lose said grip. So if you can sort of balance the brake pedal and get a little bit of a slide out, yes, even in Formula 1 cars, it can actually be a little bit quicker, which is why you see trail braking in effect. It's not just stop and then turn and then go. They have that smooth transition from the brake into the throttle, which really does help, obviously, with the rotation of the car. So it is pretty unanimous in terms of most motorsports. I'm trying to think of an example where it's not, where you wouldn't really want to use the brakes to turn. I guess in the yeah, I mean, I suppose, yeah, but even then you're still trail braking, you're still trying to rally more than anything. I'd say you're trying to use the weight shift of the car because it's just all over the place and you have to make the most of it. But I'm trying to think, maybe something that's really sensitive to locking, because obviously you just want to get the car stopped and turn. You don't want to risk locking up the fronts and pushing on. Again, I'm just trying to go through all the disciplines of racing. There's GT racing, prototypes, Formula 1, open wheels, rallying, drifting. Kind of, you still actually want to use a bit of brake to keep the front of the car pitched in. I don't know. I'm trying to think, but honestly, braking is one of the most important skills as a driver you can find out. Which sounds weird, right? Obviously, because you're trying to go very, very fast, but the most important skill is actually being able to slow yourself down.
Oh, and that's Boris again. That's unlucky in the Eau Rouge Radion. And actually, where you see the big drop off is now an ascent to the pit lane. So if you actually imagine the real life track, like, yeah, this was real life, but this track right now, you actually, what you were talking about, that there is a cliff, there already is a runoff. So Zach, so picture Eau Rouge in your head, like the one from today. There's like this big runoff, and it's the exit of the pit lane. Like
the endurance
and
pit
that's
lane,
the runoff,
But beyond that, there's a massive cliff.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why the catch fence is there.
Yeah. Otherwise, you are going tumbling as if you're Kimi Räikkönen or Robert Kubica in a rally car, or pretty much anyone in a rally car, to be fair. 100% Mark Webber at Valencia. And also Le Mans, Mark Webber went flying.
Yes.
I think in the Mercedes. Yeah, with Mercedes basically spending their entire World Endurance Championship season refining a car good for Le Mans, to the point that the aerodynamics of it, obviously a Formula 1 car or any car, the aerodynamics want to basically a plane upside down, whereas a plane wants to utilize low pressure air above the high pressure air to invite the push of the high pressure air to push you up. Formula 1 cars want to do the opposite, where they have low pressure air underneath to cause a suction, where the high pressure air wants to rush in to the low pressure air, creating a vacuum that obviously helps to suck the car to the floor, called downforce, funny enough. Whereas when it came to the Mercedes C something, all the way back about 20 whatever years ago, for Le Mans, they made a couple of cars, and both of them at some point took off, basically to the point that when they got so fast going down the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans, they generated so much lift, in the sense that the air was rushing over the car so quickly that it became an airplane, and it wasn't generating enough downforce. Instead, the weight of the car wanted to lift up, and when that happened, obviously the car lifted up didn't make contact with the ground, and then obviously the car lifting up invited more air to push the car up, which then saw it flipping over multiple times before finding itself in the fence and in the spectator area in the form of Mark Webber. Very, very spectacular crashes if you go and watch them, obviously, on YouTube. I think they're somewhere. But a very peculiar case of how the pursuit of top speed can very, very quickly end badly because the car was too good in a straight line that it became an airplane.
I think if you want after the race, want some Le Mans animation, I definitely can recommend. I forgot the name. Le Mans 1955, which is an animated short film that won many, and I mean many, nominations, and it's such a great film. Of course, they speak French in there and English as well, but it's really well done. It is, of course, about the catastrophe, which we don't like to talk about, but it's really good and I recommend it. The sport, it's this is why I like sim racing. You can see some of these crashes and you would be like, oh thank god, it's just a sim. Because you know that was bad. That was a 15-kilometer sign. I think that was for a corner. And I don't think that was right, since it was not for a corner, since this track only has 14 kilometers, and that's going through Blaszimon and into Stavelot with Boris Liposchak with 5 resistor. First gear 30 kilometers per hour, going down into Eau Rouge. Let's see at what speed will he hit it and what gear. And down through the finish line, almost 200, and slowing down into fourth gear, 126 around, I would say, hitting the Eau Rouge apex. Still pretty fast for that time. You wouldn't say that these cars are really fast, but those weak valves? I don't remember now. But those
The
engines
what?
pulled a lot. I said V12s. I don't think that's right.
Did you say meatballs?
No, the engines.
Right.
The V8s.
Oh, V8s. Right. Yeah. Cool. I think the Ferraris are V12s. I'm trying to think
Oh,
actually.
so I was right.
Has another crash. I think it's V12 for the Ferraris. I think maybe V8s for the Alfa Romeo. Oh no, one of them has inline 6. I know that much. It might be the Alfa Romeo, it might be the Talbot.
That might
But
be the Talbot. Which is
I think
not a
so.
track.
It's not a single unless you want to take it out for a spin.
As I said, my
And
pills are broken, so no thanks.
yeah, of course. You need to get yourself some new pedals. I had the same issue actually with my T80 a few years ago, where my throttle spring, my throttle spring just collapsed, so I couldn't actually use the throttle. And then I got myself a Logitech G29, and what happened with that one was the throttle pedal used to get stuck a little bit and flicker when I was at throttle, so it wouldn't actually let me go full throttle. Which obviously was not optimal. So got myself a T300 for Christmas, and then about 2 years later, I think it then decided to completely just out of nowhere just kaput. So I had to fork out my own hard-earned dollar when I was meant to be saving for a car. Fortunately, I still had enough to buy the car to get a sim, which I'm very grateful for. It's a nice thing to have. I'd love to be able to put more time into it, but yeah, funny enough that we both had pedal issues, and the majority of my issues have actually stemmed from pedals, which means they are a very important bit of kit to have. Funny enough, the things that make you stop and go are pretty useful in enabling you to actually go very fast around a circuit.
Yeah. If in doubt, go flat out. I think that's what Costa is using right now. And the problem, I think the first spell set I had, which I had for around a year, the throttle pedal died, but the brake worked. And now my brake died. So I would just buy the T3PA, which if the clutch dies, it's okay, I guess. But still, yeah, just new pedals will be appreciated. With the brake, actually, No, the T3PA doesn't have loads to tell. It has the spring. If I'm right. I don't remember now. I don't remember all the bell in the world as well. So yeah. But very interesting. This piece of kit that can easily break, which actually I don't know how to break broke. So yeah, that's
Are you trying to England right now, Michael?
yeah, yes, you could sense the hesitation in my voice there. I was not sure. Costa 4:17.245. That's faster than
He's
qualifying.
flying.
Isn't
Is
that
it?
faster than quali? I think
No,
it
he did
is.
a 14. He did a 4:13 in qualifying. It was a
Oh, he did a
4:13.8, I think,
4:13. Yeah,
for Costa. It was quicker than most people in qualifying, but Costa was just that good that he was able to go
we
a
can
few
check
seconds quicker than the
actually.
rest. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you can.
4:13.8.
Mate, look at me. I'm actually on fire today, and I hope no one minds that I'm blowing steam up my own backside. But I'm on something today. I don't know what I've taken, but to be fair, I've had a couple of banana loaf things. I've had packet refrigerators. I've had an egg sandwich, and I've had some nut bars for today, and water. Look at me being healthy. Water. So something must be going on to help my memory. But a 13.8 obviously did go the way of Costa. I do feel really bad for you, Michael. The fact you have to share the commentary booth with me on a number of occasions. Obviously, this is the third time we've had to do it, and I still feel very bad for you because these are long races, and you're stuck with me for quite some time. So yeah, good luck. Is the
If you want to, I'm going to send you. It was a 1 hour race, well, like 1 hour session, like qualifying and 2 races. I'm going to send you that session because the co-commentator's mic was it like sounds great all the time, but that one day it was horrible. I'm going to send you that, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm actually quite fine against that microphone quality sitting on it in your ears. Wait, I'm talking out of my mind as well. Boris into fifth will crash Anthony Zeitl into second place. What happened to Boris Leipzig is my question right now. What has happened? How or when did he crash?
I didn't see anything necessarily ping up per se, but yeah, that is not great. I mean, maybe it's a scheduled pit stop. I mean, they are burning through quite a bit of fuel going around Spa. Could this be a 4-stop race potentially, or 3-stop actually? It would be because they wouldn't have to stop on the final lap. So it would be lap 9, lap 18, lap 27, and then obviously to the end. Potentially, maybe. I don't know how long these guys go on fuel. So hopefully one of the lovely lot in the YouTube chat watching on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel can enlighten us, or Obi-Wan can in the broadcaster chat. Either way, whichever's easiest. Obviously for those, was it a genuine pit? Yeah, I think it was a genuine pit.
So that's why we have seen a no ping, and that's the first bit of the race. Also, there actually might be a tire change in this long race. We may have got the speculations. I'm not sure as well, so yeah. We'll see.
Interesting.
So yeah.
I would like to hope that maybe someone in the YouTube chat can obviously enlighten us just a little bit. Of course, as I said, welcome along to those watching in the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. Make sure to like, subscribe to the bell on for notifications, of course, to make sure you stay up to date with everything that comes our way in terms of sim racing. You will definitely find a home when it comes to JPB. I mean, we do touring cars, open wheel cars, old school Formula One, radicals, endurances, sprints, whatever tickles your fancy. We've got it here, and you will find a home. Pretty much races every single day across the board in terms of multiple different time zones. So no matter where you are in the world, there's no excuse for you to not indulge in the JP Broadcasting channel, because you've got the fantastic lights of myself, Zach Sweeney, and Michael Sifalda alongside me in the commentary booth. And who wouldn't want to miss that? Let's be honest. It's me and you. Let's just say that. I mean, they've got to stick around, right?
Well, I guess they do, because we will be here for a long time, and I hope that we could talk someone from the chat just for not in the commentary box, but just someone that could give us more information and be more active as well. There's 8 of you right now, actually 7. So we will see if any of you want to cheer for your driver. Do it as much as you want to. Everything in the chat is welcome, but nothing vulgar, please. Of course,
course.
this is a family show. Or is
It
it?
is. No, it is. 100%. James will kill me. I'm responsible for you, Michael. Okay, I've got to keep an eye on you.
Yeah, true.
I've got to make sure I keep you in check. And that is saying something. Okay, I should not be in charge of anyone. I'm only a year older than you. I'm the one being put in charge. Okay. But yeah, no. In all fairness, it's a family show. We don't want to get any stick in the neck from James coming at us, and I'd rather stay on his good books because he's done all right by me, and I do like being a part of JP Broadcasting. It's very, very fun. So maybe if there are any aspiring commentators in the chat watching along, maybe drop yourself a message, drop your show reel in. Maybe we could see you in the commentary booth alongside us one day as well, because JP Broadcasting is growing and growing. There is always more demand for talent, quote unquote, basically just commentators or producers. Yeah, definitely if you're able to, and we'd love to have you maybe in the organization. And of course, any leagues watching as well, get yourself involved, because you'll always have a quality broadcast when it comes to JP Broadcasting, as the channel grows and grows and grows, up now to 730 subscribers on YouTube, which is pretty decent progress in all fairness. And while you're watching on the Revival Racing League as they present the 1950s Formula One World Championship, and we take to Spa for round number 5. Then, of course, we go to France. And I'm actually trying to do it off memory. But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to look. I'm going to cheat. We're in Belgium, and then of course we go to France and Italy for the final 2 rounds. So I was right. I just thought there was an extra one that snuck in there. But we've been to Silverstone, Monaco, Indianapolis, Switzerland, then of course Belgium, France, and Italy to round off the season, which has been a fairly exciting season so far. And well, as it stands, the dominance in force from Costa means that he's relatively unchallenged in this race, and well, he's doing the best job of keeping his nose clean and staying his way out of the barrier.
That's definitely for sure. Costa driving one of the cleanest races for now. Of course, 1 lap is around 4 minutes, and 4 times 8 is 32 minutes that he has been lapping this track already, give or take 32 minutes. So I don't know. I already did 24-hour races with 3 or 2-hour stints. That was Spain as well, but come on, going around in these cars for 30 minutes. Oh, that's Anton revving up the gears as well. That's not a very pleasant thing to hear. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty insane for me. We have, another DNF. Baron DNFing. I don't know why or how. Have you noticed that, Zach?
I didn't see anything. But yeah, I don't know. You're the one pointing the camera, so yeah, whatever's happened, unfortunately, has gone the way of Baron, who now sees himself out of this race, bringing our total down to 6 left. Costa, Lipacek, Anton Azatel, Enzo, Noah, and Mark still left, continuing around the Ardennes Forest. Yeah, for the second Spa-Francorchamps, still with just over 27 laps remaining. The only crash that I've seen recently is Enzo, with a crash to the environment of about 25 kph. But yeah, that is big news for Baron. It's the first time I've seen him so far this season, and well, if it is his debut, then he's definitely not doing the best of jobs, unfortunately, and well, falling victim to the very, very difficult nature that is Old School Spa.
Yeah, GR Noah, even though he is crashing, he is not giving up. That's what we like to see. Mark, who has also crashed, never gave up. He's almost a lap behind. Now actually might overtake Noah because Noah went into the pit lane. So we might see if any change happens there. And that's not a lot of people on track, but do you think that the pit stops can shake it up a bit? Yeah. So the Yeah, I'm not going to answer myself on the question. That seems quite lonely. But yeah, Costa, 41 seconds ahead of Anton Zeitl. That's a large gap. Yeah, maybe the pit stop. I don't know how long the pit stop takes. I should know that with round 3 that I am commentating this. It should be around, if I'm right, 40 seconds to 45 seconds. And that's quite a long time. And that would mean that Costa will be caught up to, of course, on his 9th lap. And he is still going on. The thing that we got was 9 laps with a little bit of fuel saving. That's a free stop that is supposed to be expected. But yeah, Noah, another person at DNF. Actually, I'm quite intrigued. Obi-Wan, can you please answer this for me? Is it possible that a race can end with everybody DNFing? Because I would be actually quite sad if it happens that way. Zach's computer committed
I'm
something.
here. I am here.
Yeah, there you go.
I moved the keyboard very, very slightly, and it just started to turn off. That's the second time it's done it today. So I am very, very confused. Hopefully, it won't happen again. But yeah, I mean, we're going through drivers very, very quickly, which is a shame. Would be a shame to see obviously the race end prematurely because of the fact there is a limited amount of drivers. But those of them that are continuing on are doing the best job in enabling themselves to actually score some decent points today. And while coming into the pit lane, Anton Zeitl, and obviously that is, I think, a scheduled pit stop for Zeitl, for the German driver, who is around about lap 10, is around about where you would want to come into the pit lane. There's not going to be much variation in terms of the pit strategy, obviously, in the sense that it's a very, very long lap, so saving a lap of fuel is going to be very, very difficult. So I would expect that we're going to see the majority of people coming in on the same lap as everyone else, which I can see happening, but still waiting for, obviously, Costa, Leipzig to come in. Same too with Enzo, and potentially Mark if he's still going around the circuit also. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what the strategical dynamic of this race sees itself in.
You have Mark to your Quayan. As he wanted to know if he's still lapping around. Yes, he is. And proudly, I'm sure of that, proudly he is still lapping Spa-Francorchamps in his Alfa Romeo. So there you go, a little point of view back to the back of the grid. Me, Pedro Lopez, and some unknown in the pit lane, just chilling. I guess why not? Here, Anton, third right now. The pit stops might actually promote him into the second position.
Ooh.
Or maybe first.
I wouldn't say first. I would be confident in saying second, but I think Costa does have the margin to hang on. I think the gap is a bit too big, in my opinion. That's not to say it won't shrink, but the speed that Costa has got relative to everyone else is just insane. It's ridiculous. Yeah, there is no way in holy matrimony that I will be convinced that Costa is finishing anywhere in this race other than first. I mean, he might not finish the race, but if he does finish the race, it's going to be the win. I think is the only natural response for assuming that Costa is winning this race. Had a bit of a blonde moment there, had a bit of a brain freeze. But yeah, obviously, thank you, of course, to everyone that is watching along in the YouTube stream. It's a pleasure to have you in. As I said, my name is Zach Sweeney. I've been alongside Michael Sifalda, I should say, for the duration of this stream. Of course, those of you watching in the YouTube chat, welcome in. As I say, it's a pleasure to have you in. See the likes of Walter Richard, Pedro Lopez, Mark Brookhouse, and obviously the Revival Racing League themselves. So make sure you keep your comments coming in. We'll try to stay on top of them as best as possible. And if everyone DNFs, the person with the most laps wins. If two people have the same number, then whoever started first, which obviously answers Michael's question of, well, what happens if everyone DNFs, is what the thing is. And I think we only have 4 runners left in this race. I think Mark is coming to the pit lane, whether that is for a scheduled stop or not. I believe so. So as it stands, only 5 of the 12 that we started with. So a bit short in terms of numbers. But regardless of which, we're still watching along in terms of Costa, who is running his way through the Camel Kink and up the Camel Straight, not down the Camel Straight. There is a bit of an incline on it, and it is fairly noticeable when you're driving and walking on the circuit. And then, of course, you get to Lake Carmen. Well, it's a flick to the left rather than going through the chicane, the right, then the left. Long sweeping left-hander, very banked and very undulating. You work your way downhill towards the following corner of Hout de la Cotte. And then beyond that, a couple more corners. We are approaching sort of the third waypoint in this race with 25 laps left in the Belgian Grand Prix. Still a long way to go. It feels like we've been going on for quite a while, but yeah, still a long way to go. Less than half of the way through, so definitely don't go anywhere just yet. As well, Costa is doing a fantastic job of controlling this race, as we said, time and time again. And well, of course, Michael, I think this race has been interesting in its own right. Definitely dominated so far from Costa.
Yeah, Costa has dominated this race for sure. 59 seconds in the lead. That's quite amazing. Boris still hasn't bit it. Anton has. Mark has. I don't know if Enzo, but it seems like he did since he's 1 lap down. And yeah, everything will be more and more interesting going into the, how Zach said, the second third of the race, which we just got there. We are in the second 7 and what 5th? Trying to think. We are in the second 5th as well. Since 35 divided by 7 is 5. So we're good.
There we go.
So still, some things may happen, some may not. And it seems like Anton's overtake on Boris through a pit stop might not happen if Boris will go on. I know if did Boris pit before, maybe Boris pit it in front of Anton. Didn't? Yes, he did. So it's Costa didn't pit yet. That's the only guy that hasn't pitted right now.
Yeah. He's I don't know how he's still going, because the expectation was 9 laps with a little bit of fuel saving, but Costa somehow is just going and going and going and going. For whatever reason, I don't know. But yeah, well, fair play to him for carry on lap after lap after lap. But however he's doing it, I don't know. He must be magic. But definitely he's got the pace and the strategic advantage going the way of the Ferrari 125, the number 5 machine of Costa, leading the way quite brilliantly in all fairness. And looking forward to seeing how this race progresses in terms of that regard, because the strategical advantage that Costa has is ridiculous. The extra laps here and there are really going to help him. He's doing himself a lot of favors anyway by being quick. But it's strange that he's able to fuel save this much around a circuit this long.
Well, that's definitely quite like magic. It's almost like saving the tires when you are Checo Perez. Going around the track. Of course, tires here last so much longer than the modern F1 tires, but managing fuel at this rate is amazing for this time as well. And one of the things that's not quite in, because you cannot refuel anymore in these types, in this era of F1. I don't think it will come back anytime in the future as well, so yeah. Not really much. Also, if I'm right, the season that refueling ended on was like 207 or 206. Like somewhere around that time, if I'm right. Not sure on the right year or season. I will double check. So they could refuel. Ended into 209, the 2009 season, so I was quite a bit off. Costa still lap into lap, 11 laps, and still hasn't pitted, which is amazing. I have never actually seen someone extend their stint so much as this. Something truly that I haven't seen just never. Costa is doing one of the most impossible things, going with the Ferrari 125 around Spa. In his top speed, actually crashed once. He has 5 resistor. Be careful on that. And he's still going, just flying around the lap. Maybe he put more fuel, maybe the 125 holds more fuel than the Alfa Romeo and the 375, if I'm right. That's the name of the of the car. I'm not sure. Enzo, 1 lap down of Anton and Zazel, with Anton actually have the 375. If we can look, this is the difference of the car. Is more flat, more than not. We have 5 racers on the track, which Mark, who crashed in the beginning laps, got back onto track and is racing for now 3 minutes and 45 seconds behind Enzo, which still good for his pace. Definitely better than me. I think I would have retired maybe. That's my personal experience. Don't know how about any other people in chat. What would they do? So yeah, very interesting things to see here. Yeah. So, as Zach said, we got the rules. If everyone DNFs, the person with the most lap wins, which is Costa. If 2 people have the same number, then whoever did it first wins, which no one on the grid right now has the same number, fortunately. And someone does the most preparation of the top runners. Don't know who the talk was about on this one. Not really sure. On the 12th lap, actually, yeah, on the 12th lap, Costa still now going into La Source, maybe finally bidding in the race. You'll see. Goes into the pits, you can check with him. Where is our flying Portuguese driver? And he still has not bid it. So there he goes. He has 12 laps, 39 pink. The gap, actually, Boris is now 1 lap down because he hasn't crossed the line yet. The fastest lap by Costa, 4:17.24 tie. We've been 4 kilometers per hour slower than Boris. It's still pretty insane. It sucks that I don't see here if they have stopped. That sucks a lot for me. I know that you can see that in some games. Don't know what games now. But yeah, thank you, Revival Racing League. The talk was about Costa. Of course, he has done the most preparations. He's flying on the track. What else would he do right now? Boris, still going on as well. Into second place. If I'm right, Mark in front of him, Costa, and Anton is in Blanchimont with Enzo in front of Anton, which is really quite awesome. What these cars can do and how Enzo might be lapped again. by Anton Zeitl. Yeah, very crazy things that happen here. Actually, that might be. Oh, Enzo crashing out. Another thing that he wants to do. Anton slowing down a little bit for Enzo so he doesn't hit him. The German doesn't want to hit the American. Enzo, a little bit going up and down the curves and just trying to reverse it and going back. It's Costa! Where is he? Costa crashed. At stand resistor, don't know at what speed. Everybody stopped once. That's the information I have. So then just might be that I'm blind and I haven't seen Costa pit it. So I think the more of the thing was that I am actually blind and I haven't seen him pit. If I can look somewhere, I hope I can. No, I can't. That's sad. Then I don't know how Costa crashed. Would actually be pretty impressive to know. Marek, the only guy who actually crashed but has 0 resistor. Yeah, Enzo into pit lane, 2 laps behind Anton Zeitl. Might be the end for him. Anton as well. 10 resistor. Where did he get that? But it definitely can be sounded on his car. You can hear it there. It doesn't sound that good. But yeah, now we have the flying Kjörgveien into Alfa Romeo. Going down for more and more and more. So he knows what to do and what to expect. As someone said once, I think it was an ultra Ironman, and they were doing laps on bikes, and it's like, it's great. You go like 1-2 times around and you see the scenery around it is beautiful, and when you go more and more, just more sad, depressing, because you're still seeing the same things over and over. Of course, these drivers are focusing only on the track, but the thing he said is it's really deep. If you do hundreds of kilometers on this track, it actually is pretty much a mental challenge for these drivers as well, a little bit. So no driver, as I have heard since, has gone insane with racing right now, because everything is still different on the track. And yeah, Costa still first. And Zach, what do you think of the race so far?
Well, it's not really been much of a race, in all fairness. I mean, Costa's been running away with things out in front. I mean, what is he now? 52 seconds clear of Boris Lipacek, it says on the top left of your screen. And well, he himself is a minute and 27 clear of Anton Zeitl. So we have got a fairly spread out field. Obviously, thanks to differences in pace and obviously incidents here and there, bringing us down to now just 5 runners of the 12 that we did have. We lost the likes of Baron, Noah, Matzo, Sen, We Up, JB Osmus, and of course Pedro Lopez as well, all the way back down in P12. We lost JB Osmus and Pedro Lopez quite early on in the opening couple of laps of this race, and well, the rest of them have just been tumbling like flies since then. Through a Rouge for Boris Lipacek and Lucas Barber said only 35 laps. I assure you, that is plenty. We're on to lap 14 now, and the race has been going on for coming up to about an hour so far in this race. So around about 4-minute 15 lap. I don't know if you've been sarcastic or not. If you are, then funny. If not, then obviously this is the old rendition of Spa. It's a very, very long circuit where you turn left at Lecom as opposed to turning right. And as you can see here with Boris Lipacek, you take the very, very long way around the now 14 kilometer, about 8.7 mile circuit. And it does take you around about 4.5 minutes to complete. Yeah, a 4-minute lap round here. It's not the usual time that we would expect from Spa, but yeah, 35 translates to, well, what's 4 times 30? About 150 minutes of of track time, plus obviously the 15 seconds here and there, 30 seconds here and there. So probably adding on a further 4 times 30 seconds, or what am I talking about? 35 times half a second as well, half a minute I should say, because that all adds up here and there as well, which is probably going to bring our total to around about. Oh, I'd say I want to say close on to around about 3 hours total in terms of track time. So what I'm getting at, Michael, here is there's plenty of laps when it comes to round number 5 here in Belgium.
That's definitely for sure. How Lucas said he only thought it's like only 35 laps. Then he heard you saying it's 4 minutes a lap. And yeah, it's quite insane. How I said as well when I was just talking to myself here, I'm sure, and it's quite amazing that the drivers haven't gone insane while driving this track around and around. Because I think that would be just like, maybe they are just in the zone, and if you are just lapping in the zone, you don't mind what's around you. But if you like look around you, and it's the same for a whole lap, like this is a big lap, so you don't care, like you cannot remember that much of what's in the lap. Of course, here with the RD Forest as well, you cannot remember where every tree and every electric ball is. You can remember the corners, I think that's it as well, and your braking markers if you need them. Don't know what type of races are you, so yeah. Quite crazy that some of the real life drivers haven't gone insane, especially in Monaco. I think I would say. So yeah, Boris a little bit going onto the grass. And yeah, not much he can do. 55 seconds behind Costa. That's a large gap. 4:15.7. Costa. How? That's insane.
It is. I mean, it's only about 2 seconds off his qualifying pace that he's doing in the race with worn tyres and, of course, a full tank of fuel. He's very quick. Let's put it that way. And yes, Lucas, there can be a very, very long lap around. The longest lap, I think, is. I'm trying to think. There's laps that take sort of about 40 kilometers to go around. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but I can picture Jimmy Broadbent doing the video of it, where you just climb yourself through some countryside for a while. Obviously, the Isle of Man is quite a long circuit as well, so 4 minutes is fairly generous in terms of long circuits. It's sort of the borderline in terms of that crossover between short and long. But yeah, 14 kilometers is a very, very long circuit. Let's put it that way. And the pace that Costa is showing right now is, well, quite literally second to none. He is on fire. The next closest car to him is Boris Lipacak in terms of raw pace, and even he is, well, upwards of now 4 seconds a lap slower versus the man from Portugal, which doesn't make for great viewing entertainment, but it definitely does make for some pretty good championship implications for Costa, being able to work his way that far ahead of everyone else. Doesn't score any points, of course, for finishing miles ahead of everyone else, but he does score the same amount of points for taking the victory, and the fact that he doesn't feel any pressure at the moment. He's just gone on a nice little Saturday evening drive. He's he's pretty chill out in front. I'm sure that's not quite the case because, well, Spa is a very intense circuit. Like we said when we spoke to the drivers last time out of Switzerland, we said to them, well, you were by yourself for the majority of the race. Were you not? Did you not get bored? Did you zone out a little bit? Did you start wondering what you were going to have for food when you got off? Did you wonder when you were going to doze off to sleep? And they all said no, because the car and the track keep us occupied enough that we can, well, we're forced to stay focused. So yeah, well, Costa might seem like he's having an easy time. I'm sure that very much is not the case, Michael.
Yeah, it's definitely true. These cars are... I never drove them actually. Still, my bells broke when I tried and drive them. Then I realized that my bellow is broken. I'm sad because I actually want to try them, but yeah, with no brake, yeah, I guess going 250 kilometers per hour on the massive straight, with no brakes is quite scandalous.
100%. You do not want to go down here with faulty brakes. So Michael is not going to be joining them out on circuit, and we'll leave it to the very capable hands of those that are still driving, who are still able to continue on. And there are no close fights as it stands on circuit. The closest one as it stands is between Enzo and Mark, which is only about 7 seconds, which, to be fair, relative to this race is fairly slim. But we'll wait and see as to the gap in a few moments' time. Obviously, Mark is the quickest in a straight line of everyone in his Alfa Romeo 158.47 Alfata. Inline 8 engine, of course, so 8 cylinders back to back to back in the front of that Alfa Romeo, and is propelling him to speeds of 281.42 kilometers an hour. So I want to say about 240 miles an hour ish, give or take. Not 240, 140 miles an hour, give or take, which is pretty quick in terms of top speed, particularly when you're driving in a tin can with absolutely no margin for error, where literally the slightest of slip will see you in the barrier. 281 kilometers of an hour is fairly quick, let's put it that way, and Mark is using that to best effect. Unfortunately, not as quick through the corners as those around him, as his best lap is around about 12 seconds a lap slower than the leader of Costa, so he needs to step just a little bit through the corners if he wants to make any progress. But it seems that for the majority of people, progress is something that is not going to come into effect. And it's more just a case of getting to the end and anchoring down the position you're in.
Finn, it must be so much fun for Enzo having 40 resistor. Where did he get that? I don't know. I'm quite confused.
Well, that's from crashing 8 times.
Oh, someone has learned math. Here we go. It's big brain time.
It is a great time. I've got a very, very, very big noggin.
Anton has 20, Costa has 10, and Mark has 10. Boris has 5. So Boris has the lowest. Actually, I do have the lowest, but I'm into pit lane. But
you don't count, Michael.
yes, I
basically.
know. I don't count. So the lowest is by Boris, but he is still not catching up. How? I don't know.
Purple to the middle sector on that current lap, on that last lap, I should say, as Costa goes quickest through the first sector. I think right now what we're looking at is who can put in the best lap time, because Boris Leipzig on that last lap was actually able to put in his best lap and the fastest lap of the race, a 4:17.209 for the Croatian. So he's actually gained some time back on Costa. So we'll see what Costa's response to that is. He's purple to sector 1 with a 1:15.8, only a couple of attempts off what they were running in qualifying, which is very, very quick indeed. So we'll see how the pace develops as the lap goes on. It's a very long lap, so we're sort of suspended waiting for things to come through, and we'll see what Boris can do actually to the first sector on this current lap. We're staying at live timing very eagerly to see what can happen. About 10 seconds until he crosses the timer line for sector number 1, and then we'll give you all the information you need to know about Boris's next lap attempt. Costa is absolutely flying out in front. He crosses the sector line and will wait to refresh what is going to be for sector number 1. It's green. It's about 8/10 of a second slower than what Costa just put in through the first sector.
It's for sure. Costa in the first sector is actually purple right now. So that's pretty amazing. Let's maybe take him on a lap if I know where he is. There's Costa on one of the giant straights. Don't know which one right now, but still going 250 kilometers down. Now we will know. Then we will not. I don't think the track descriptions. Let me know. Lacaria. So he just went around Blash. No, he will now go into Blashimon. And from Blashimon, he will go into the last turn, which is not Stabilo. God damn it.
You thinking you had a blonde moment?
It's Blashimon.
And then it's
Yes.
Clubhouse?
Then Oh, it's Clubhouse, then Blaşimon. Yeah.
Other way around, I think. I'm pretty sure it's the other way.
Blaşimon, Clubhouse. La Sauce. Then going into Oud and Radion. Into the Camel King. Into the Camel Strait. Up on Lacom. Through the Heated the something. Into Malmedy. Going through the Strait. And then there's a little kink. I think that's before the Malmedy kink might be. I'm not sure right now. Go from the top of my head. This can be just making something up in my head. Might be. We can check. Not really sure. There we go. Yeah. So I was right. And Costa is in the pits. So
Is this his first pit? No, this isn't a first pit. This is
this
second
is
pit stop,
second
right?
pit. So his first pit stop was on lap 8. It had to been.
Yeah, I think so. I think we just didn't notice it because he was so far in front that it was difficult to notice when he actually stopped. So yeah, he's come into the pit lane again on what is lap
18.
lap 18.
Yes.
Thank you.
Actually 16, but yeah, no, it's lap 16. But
Lap 16.
God.
There's a big gap between 16 and 18. There's not
It's
only is there
8
2 laps difference,
minutes.
there's
It's
also
only
9
8
minutes of track time.
minutes. Yeah, it's true, but yeah. Leave me be. It's hot
Never.
Calcutta, then into Vernonville, then into Malmedy, from Malmedy into the Master Strait, into the Master King, then to Hollowell Strait, into Hollowell and Stavelo, to Lacaille, the Blaşimon, the Clubhouse, to La Sauce, Boris into pit lane as well.
So everyone in on lap 16, 17, lap 16, 17, 18, 16, there we go. Unfortunately, I can't quite see it a little bit. It looks as though the game is being broadcasted through a Samsung fridge at the moment. No offense,
I'm
Michael.
so sorry, I don't have money for this Core Nitro. I'm glad I have Spotify Premium, mate. Yeah, so...
You got
leave
Spotify
that
Premium,
off.
look at you dishing out tenner a month.
But, no, because I have this... Not the student one. My dad pays it, so that's the only thing, like, that's fine, and I can only have one at a time. And the Discord Nitro is not cheap. So I'm just going to stick with Spotify Premium. Very much thank you. And hope the drivers maybe have some Spotify on, because I don't think the noise of the engine for around 2 hours is pretty good to hear. Oh, no, wait, they're talking in the chat, so they have some fun right there in their chat, in the testing and practice. So yeah, we can be talking to each other, like move out of the way.
Well, they're nowhere near each other, so they don't have to. They can just be bantering. I can tell you, I 100% always have Spotify when I'm commentating. Even if I can barely hear it, it's just nice to know that it's there. And like you, I also dish out the tenner a month for Spotify Premium. I managed to get 3 months for free, and then after that I was like, yeah, you know what, I can afford a tenner a month. However, it's always so sad seeing the £10 come out every single month, because I know it's coming, but then I see the notification on my phone, I'm like, yeah, no, there's a tenner gone.
It's just 1 hour of commentating. You are going to be fine.
That's true. To be fair, it depends who I work for as well.
Yeah, it depends as well.
But yeah, on average, it's not so bad. So basically, thanks to the Revival Racing League, I've been able to buy myself 2 months of Spotify Premium. So brilliant stuff.
Maybe actually more, but
well,
anyway.
so far, obviously. Basically, are we counting our commentary wages in Spotify Premium months now? Is that what we're doing? Are we saying, oh yeah, I worked for 6 hours, so I get half the year?
For the 2 races I commented, I bought new earphones, new earbuds. So yeah, I'm fine. That still supports music, so like, yeah, there you go.
I've had to support my... now. Of course, yeah. I've had to support my copious amounts of Just Eat habits, where getting McDonald's delivered to my door seems to be the absolute best thing. Not only McDonald's, Subway, KFC, pizza, basically anything. I eat a lot, or at least I did before I realised. Yeah, I spent honestly. It's disgraceful how much I spent on Just Eat over the last year. And funny enough, I told myself I wasn't going to spend a lot on Just Eat. I have since deleted Just Eat and bought myself a gym membership. So there we go. That says everything you need to know about the amount that I was spending on Just Eat. And with that, I also got myself my first car and my new sim. So I'm pretty happy with how commentary going. But I will.
There's a
Do you know what
thing missing right now. I'm not going to say it on stream because I respect your privacy. I'm going to tell you. I actually tell you in DMs. I will do that because
Okay.
I want to respect your privacy.
Interesting. Okay, I'm scared now, ladies and gents. If I don't come out of this alive,
scary. You will come out alive. Don't worry.
oh yeah, no, of course, absolutely, yeah, 100%, always, yeah. They're expensive things, mate. You'll come to know. Basically, for those wondering, I don't leave you in the dark. Basically, Michael was too shy to ask if I had a girlfriend on stream, which I do. She's lovely.
Privacy.
I appreciate it. But yeah, no, they're expensive things. Birthdays, Christmases, random acts of love because I'm awesome. But they add up. They're very expensive.
Yeah, don't worry, I would know.
Do you got a missus as well, Michael? Look at this.
I did.
Everything's coming out when the JP broadcasting. You did.
I
Oh,
did.
that's sad. Oh no, that's sad. That is really sad. I apologize.
I had
Yeah,
two love
fair enough.
interests as well. One broke me down. The lowest one I have been in my life. Then I started commentating. Now I had this second one, and he broke my hopes. It was like a week ago. So yeah, I'm all good.
Basically,
so there you go,
this
that's my
took a
love
very
life
dark turn
in-
very quickly.
Yeah, what do you think? I am not the lover boy as any other guy in the JP broadcasting community. So any other of you, if you want to flex on me, I want to say it. I will not say it. I don't care. I am going to keep myself. I am not going to say it. Mark is spinning this lap, also pitted, and Enzo pitted as well in this lap. Very good for both of those drivers, keeping their cars hydrated. Of course, if you have water by yourself, please hydrate yourself. It's very important to do that, even during all these races.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to stay in tip-top shape, obviously. For these guys, they've been driving for quite some time, and yeah, obviously, naturally, they're going to start feeling a little bit of fatigue, pardon me, as they work their way around Spa, of course. It's very tricky. They're using a lot of mental endurance, and obviously a bit of water goes a long way. And it's not like they've got a shortage of opportunities, because they can come into the pit lane and take a couple of swigs. They can, down the master straight. They've got plenty of time to take their hand off the steering wheel and just grab a swig of water as well, which obviously helps them to continue. I mean, whenever I think of that, whenever I think of people eating or drinking, I always think back to that Charles Leclerc on Twitch, where he literally was eating yogurt when he was going down the Mulsanne straight at the Circuit de Start. Yeah, fantastic. It's a good opportunity. I remember one time I was in a league race on GT Sport, where the back straight of the Tokyo Expressway circuit, and I literally got my phone out and I was snapping my friend, Snapchat obviously, and I was telling him I'm leading in a league race because the straight was just that long I could get away with it. You gotta make the most of the circuit that you're on.
On your phone, do not stake. Don't let Zach be your role model, because that's not a good thing that you should do. Of course, if you need to,
don't text and drive.
Don't text and drive. Do not do it in real life. Do not do it in sim racing as well. It's a very bad idea. Don't stake. Do not stake Zach as a good role model for this, because otherwise. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I think I'm a fantastic role model. Thank you very much. I disagree. I think I'm a brilliant. I think I'm an example that people need to listen to and watch, because I'm blooming brilliant, mate. No, I kid. Yeah, do not copy me at all. Particularly my spending habits, and also my tendency to text and drive on sim racing. Probably why my I rating is so low, but we won't talk about that. Because
that's where more of the money is going from. Not just a gym membership, not just Spotify, but iRacing as well.
to be fair,
Yeah.
iRacing hasn't taken as much. I spent probably upwards of £200 on iRacing in total, maybe a little bit more, which is a lot in all fairness. But I've managed to get a decent amount of enjoyment out of it. The main thing for me is paying the membership because I don't want to fork out for the cars and tracks. But also I do like a bit of iRacing here and there. So I wait until the circuits line up quite well. I can race for a few weeks, and then I buy a membership and then race on iRacing for a little bit. So I try to be as money efficient, but you can very easily spend like £2,000-3,000 on iRacing so quickly. Just to get all the content, I think is about three grand, and then obviously 2-year membership is $200. So there's a lot that goes into iRacing, which makes me thankful for all the other sims that give you free content and things. But iRacing definitely is the top level. iRacing for me is my favorite sim, both physics-wise and also the
Doing the physics that you can heat up your tires while
on the grass,
braking on the whole track and on the grass. Yeah, I never raced
the
iRacing
driving,
as well, but
the driving on iRacing I enjoy, and also the online aspect. The fact you can just click on a series and there will be 20-30 other people in the same lobby ready to race, which you don't really get in any other sim. Maybe closest to ACC, but even that is a bit of a stretch. R-Factor 2, I've never been able to get into an online server. Same with Assetto Corsa in terms of a decent racing server. I'm trying to think of other sims. F1,
most
bit mid.
servers you will find here on AC is Shutoku Revival. I think that's the most you can get out of here, with actually one of the most popular servers being No Hesi, which is a Shutoku Revival server, so yeah. But one of the biggest AC communities, by the way.
I think sims have their strengths and weaknesses.
That's definitely for sure.
What's
I
that,
don't know
sorry?
if it's me or if it's Anton's internet that's lagging so much right now.
I
Might
think
be
he's
both.
flying all over the place. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, of course you are seeing 720p and 30 FPS of that. Thank you, thank you Discord, thank you. But otherwise, still going on. Seems like Enzo might have bid it for more than I think he wanted to. Because he is still not going out of the pit lane.
I don't think he's going to be. Either he's got a very long damage repair, or he's out of this race. Is the conclusion that I'm getting from this. So we'll see. And see if Enzo rejoins the circuit, because if that does mean he's out of the race, that would unfortunately bring our total down to 4, which means Mark, as it stands, would be the only driver not finishing on the podium in a 4-car race, which is
Sad.
not great. Yeah, it's a little bit sad. And we're getting told that Enzo had to run an errand, so unfortunately doesn't have the capacity to stay in the race. Maybe when he's back, he can pull himself back out of the pit lane. But yeah, that is probably the worst timing. You know, maybe your missus in your ear, maybe your kid wants some sweets from the shop, and you're in a league race and you have to pull over and then run to the shop. That would be really sad. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, I suppose.
It's your destiny. Us. Actually, not a lot of Star Wars fans would say, but yeah, Enzo had to run an errand, and it's Anton's internet, not mine. That's great to hear. But also, yeah, as you said, you're in the middle of the league race. You're still the last, but you will still get quite a lot of points, and you just have to do something. But if he still finishes the race, then yeah, he still gets the points. So at least that's good.
I guess points to the sort of the important thing at the end of the day is being able to score the points. But yeah, still would be nice to complete the races. We are actually over halfway through. Lap 20 now with 35, so we crossed over halfway a couple of laps ago, about 10 minutes ago. So now we only have about 15 and a bit laps left to go, which, well, churns out to around about an hour's worth of race time. Still left in this round number 5 of the Revival Racing League as we battle our way around the Belgian Grand Prix. We've had a couple of issues. Obviously, my PC has decided to not cooperate with me. I've literally moved it an inch. I've slammed my keyboard back onto the desk, and I've moved my mouse, and all times it's turned itself off. Which is bizarre as to how that's happened, but hey ho, things happen. Obviously, Mark's PC died just before the race, which unfortunately did cost him a couple of laps, despite his maybe decent pace relative to those around him. And obviously, Enzo's had to go and run an errand. Some people have had crashes. Some people haven't exactly had the most fun of time. Round number 5, Revival Racing. But someone who is having a bit of fun is Costa out in front, a minute and a half clear of Lipashak. If he continues at this pace, he could well and truly finish a good sort of half a lap ahead of those around him, which is very impressive on a 14-kilometer circuit.
Costa is alone, as well as Anton. If you look at the minimap right now, it's quite a sight to see. Anton, just no one. There he has a half a track left for the next driver before him. That's also sad to see, but it's quite mesmerizing. And yeah, I think this is even more sad than Switzerland, as this track is longer and everything, and it's more straight. So you have it's not that challenging as Switzerland, so you have not that much things to do. This must be actually a mental challenge as well.
100% trying to keep yourself focused, but yeah, Switzerland, you were right, was very short and sharp and yeah, cool, one corner, then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Whereas Spa is straight, oh, there's a corner, and a straight, and there's a corner, and then a straight, and then there's a corner. Yeah, we get it, right? It's the theme. There's very long straights. Yes, there's a couple of kinks in the straight. It's a not so straight. But you're flat out and you're not really taking much out of the car, demanding much of it going through those kinks. But yeah, it's an interesting circuit. Both definitely do have a low margin for error, so you've got to be very, very careful when you're negotiating your way around. It's something that we've said multiple times so far in broadcast, and something we'll probably bring up a couple times more, in the sense that this Belgian Grand Prix circuit, the second to Spa-Francorchamps, is very, very tricky in of its own right, and very deserves its accolades for a very, very difficult circuit to work your way around the entire 8.7 miles of it. And yeah, similar to Switzerland, I mean, it is very difficult, but it's very different in that regard. They're both very difficult, very, very difficult circuits, but also different circuits, as you were saying.
Yeah. Both difficult in their kind of way. I don't know how about you, but have you ever actually, I may have asked you before, have you actually ever done an endurance race? Oh, hey, that's Costa! No!
Oh!
That's the
Oh my goodness me! That is a huge off for the race leader. That is going to be, well, at least a 5% reduction in terms of his engine speed. I don't think he's picked up any damage. I don't think that's quite the case. Either way, a huge crash. And I think he's very lucky that the car's still going, in all fairness, because, well, that could have very easily ended up in his engine blowing up. How he's been able to continue, and I don't know, but that could have very quickly become a race-ending incident for the man from Portugal.
It definitely could have been. That still doesn't lower the gap to that much, so we could see an actual battle on track. But still, let me continue with the question I wanted to ask you before Costa provided us with that entertaining crash. I don't want to say entertaining, that sounds weird. With that crazy crash of his, have you ever done an endurance race or competed in some kind of marathon?
I've done one. It was a 6 hours of Le Mans. I started the car. We qualified quite far back in the GT3 field. I was in a Ferrari 488 GT3. And I went into turn number 1. I made up a couple of places. Made contact before we crossed even the timing line because some absolute muppet decided to drive into the side of me. And then we went full wide down in towards turn number 1 at Le Mans. And then into the Ford chicane, the first chicane on the Mulsanne straight. I got tagged by someone behind, braking far too late. I decided not to press the brake pedal and caused a massive pile-up of about 5 cars. I then had to limp it home to get some damage. Forgot to do the fast repair, so I had to do another lap to then repair the damage. And then did about an hour of driving after that, in which case I gave up and left the rest of the driving to my teammate. Endurance racing, I've not been able to indulge in properly, but I would like to. It's just very, very difficult.
Not with that attitude.
And, yeah, I'd love to, and I just really haven't had the opportunity to, because I feel like I wouldn't be too bad if I actually managed to hook up an endurance race quite well. But yeah, I personally I prefer sprints, both to commentate and to drive. I think they're more fun. But that's my opinion.
Well, I remember one time I did a 24-hour race. I was just like alone in the voice chat. I had music on. I was singing. God, what was it? Not Mr. Sunshine, Mr. Blue Sky from the Blue Orchestra. And just someone joined. It was like the older guy from our team. He heard me sing it and he's like, "Hey, that's a song that like released when I was kind of your age and I was singing it." And I'm like, "That's crazy!" I like just keep driving on, just singing to the music as well. It was just like this encounter that just said like still some of the even from generation to generation anything could like change. Also, something that's changing is the lap count with us going into the 4/5 of the race.
Yeah, well, ticking into what is 14 laps left to go. So, yeah, we have crossed over 50% of the race. We've now got to 60% of the race, and now we only have 40% of it left to go with 14 laps. Of course, when we get to lap number 28, that will then be 80% of the way through, and then the final stretch all the way to the checker flag for the final 7 laps, which is still around about 25 minutes in length. So some very, very long times ahead of us to anchor down for the remainder of this race. And, well, of course, the 4 drivers still left on circuit are still in for quite a marathon for this race. It should have only really taken about 2.5 hours, but I think it's going to stretch all the way to the 3-hour mark, in all fairness. I can see this stretching till... Well, I mean, we started around about 9:15 in the evening for me in GMT. And then we are now at 10:30. So we've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes already, and we still have about an hour left to go. So yeah, close to the sort of the 3-hour mark. So yeah, interesting. It's been a very, very long race in all fairness for these drivers, and unfortunately there is only 4 of them on track to keep each other occupied. But that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and well, that's how this race has panned itself out. And well, it really has been a race of attrition.
Maybe it's the way just how the cookie crumbles, and
Percent.
it decided to go this way as well. 4 drivers on the grid right now. Doesn't seem like Enzo actually might be back before we hit the finishing lap, or I hope he will. But it will be pretty hard for him to just ignore all the time that he had lost and could have maybe been battling with Mark right now.
That's true. That is very, very true. The fact that obviously the incident that saw him lose some time, but hey ho, that is how, as you said, how the cookie crumbles. As Mark ticks off yet another lap, running into La Source, or we say La Source, but it's La Source. It's feminine in French. So, of course,
Yeah.
got to say la as opposed to le. But that's accents for you, and
La Source
obviously
just sounds so much better than La Source.
it just flows. It sounds better to say la source as opposed to la source. But that, again, that comes down to obviously prefixes and articles in other languages, as Mark is going quite slowly up the hill as he tries to put the power down. And well, there we go, up the banking into the spectators. Donk, donk, donk. Finds himself spinning back round. And well, that is Mark, unfortunately, having a bit of an incident. And might see himself with a bit more of an engine reduction as well. As we follow on with Costa once more as he's running his way through Malmedy. And is absolutely flying. His best lap is a 15.7. Brosh Leipzig is doing a 17.9 on their quickest times. And on the last lap, actually, he's about 15 seconds slower. He did a 4-minute 30.0, which tells me that he's saving quite a significant amount of fuel to be that much slower over the course of the lap.
He also has 30 resistor, but I guess you're going to
that's true.
ignore that. Fine. Actually, want to
Oh,
know...
yeah, you can see it on the bottom, can't you?
Yes, you can. Right here. Because on stream
Yeah.
you can... Streamlabs doesn't like me, I think, because 2 times I tried to use it, it crashed. And the third time I'm using it, you can see my cursor, even though the cursor, you are not supposed to see it. It's disabled in the settings. So, fun fact as well. Here, see, 30 res. That's his resistor. Here is his gear, his speed in kilometers per hour, and here's rotations per minute in his engine, if I'm right.
Yeah, so I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, there you go. It's all there. It's something that you can't see. I think this is Bcast. Yeah, this is Bcast information. ACC TV, not ACC TV. It actually might be named ACC TV. What do I know? No, it's ACTV
I
CP.
hope you know.
It's ACTV CP. Try description, map display, and ACCTV CP. No, ACTV CP leaderboard, and this is just an ACTV counter, which you also have here on the top of the screen. What an interesting game this is. It's also, I could also have like the counter for ACC if he wants to, and just like have that as well.
I mean, you know a lot more about the behind-the-scenes stuff than I do. You're the one that's pointing the cameras. My extent of production extends to Formula One leagues where I stream the race myself, and I don't have any fancy graphics or anything. Boris Leipzig has just found himself in the barrier at 132.5 kilometers an hour. Managed to get himself back going again, but still a hefty crash that has increased his total once more to, what is that, 15 resistance for the Croatian, which, to be fair, is still the lowest of anyone, so maybe he's kept himself at the barrier more often than not. However, still not optimal, as he's still about 2 minutes, well, actually, to be fair, not 2 minutes, but a minute and a half off the back of Costa. Either way, it's really not been the best day in the office for a number of people. However, Costa's not going to be complaining, despite his massive crash. He's somehow still taking this race in full swing and in such dominant fashion as well to still be leading that by that margin.
That's definitely true. I just love how he said he rams it into the wall at 120 kilometers per hour like it was something funny. It's by the way, Enzo is back. It seemed like, yeah, this is something that happened. It's like, this is really funny, even though in reality there you wouldn't be laughing. Let's be real. It's just you're like marching with, how to say it, happiness into that crash. That's how it sounded like.
I don't know. I was just calling it as I saw it. But I mean, I had to relay the information. It seemed like a pretty big incident, so I had to make sure we knew. But yeah, Boris Leipzig not having their best of times. There's a bit of a lock up through turn number 1, or well, the last corner of La Source, as we actually should say. But he finds himself coming down the hill. Just look at the incline on that run in towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Quite a tight Eau Rouge as well. Have to slow down by quite some margin. Not quite the slightly shallower run that we have today, where you just sort of do a bit of a kink to the left as opposed to a drastic left-hand turn. But making his way up the hill once more and continuing on for his 22nd of 35 laps. Still such a long way left to go for the Belgian Grand Prix as he works his way up the Kemmel Straight, does Boris Lipacek, in what is literally a no man's land race for him. He is completely isolated by himself, a minute and 21 in front and about a lap behind to Anton de Zetel. Mark as well is still out on circuit. Enzo's been able to get himself back on, so he's been able to get himself back from his errand and get himself back on track.
Yeah. Costa still flying with how much. Anton still has the 20 resistor since we last talked. Costa has 30, which is 10 more than the last time we talked. Enzo has 45, which is 5 more than we last time said about resistor. Marx has 20, which he had 0. I think the last time I said anything about resistors was maybe like lap 10 or around lap 10, I guess. And Boris has 15, so he has 5 more. That's pretty clean racing by those guys. Like, of course, clean racing when the gaps are minutes. So yeah.
It's hard to crash when there's no one around you to crash into, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which obviously makes it a little bit easier to keep it at the barrier, but again, the circuit in of itself is very easy to find yourself wound up into the invisible barriers that are around the circuit or into someone's house at some point. But yeah, it's as we said, it's been a very tricky circuit. It's been a very tricky day. And endurance for those on the circuit and us in the commentary booth as well. We've been doing our absolute best to keep the action coming, despite the fact that unfortunately the gaps between each driver are fairly substantial. As Lipacek goes very, very wide through that run through Stabilo. Easily done. The car is very much on this absolute limit in terms of lateral grip, and all it takes is a slight bit of slide over, exaggerating it just a little bit, overcoming it just a little bit. We'll see yourself sliding off into the bush, as we saw there from Lipacek, who takes another tap to the barrier. Fortunately, it's not enough to see him take a further 5% engine penalty, which is fortunate for him that he's able to continue on at the same speed.
Yeah. Definitely some of these drivers must be tired as well. Well, now, for me, it's actually 11:37 p.m. Costa into pits for last time he was in lap 16, actually going into the pits around the 8 laps as well. So I think this is the last pit for Costa. Boris in Blanchimon. We're going through Blanchimon, then into campus, from campus into La Sauce, as Mr. English French loves to tell us about. La Sauce.
Oui. Yeah, je parle français, as they say in French. I speak French. No, mate. You know what? I've been doing German on my Duolingo, and I've learned some good stuff in my time. I can order some coffee in a cafe. I can order some tea in a cafe. What else can I do? I'm trying to think actually. But I've not done too bad on my Duolingo. I like German. I think it's a good language, much better than French. In all fairness, I never enjoyed French at school. The only time I tolerated it was because any time that mentioned any form of motorsport. But of course, remains to be in the past because, well, I've left school now, so fantastic. I don't ever have to sit in a French classroom ever again, thankfully. No offense to my French teacher, she was lovely, but I just never enjoyed French. Funny enough,
learning Japanese.
Oh, really?
Which, yes. Also on Duolingo. It's
I
fun.
Japanese. That just seems way too complicated for me. I struggle to learn languages, but fair enough.
Actually, it's pretty easy when you get to know the characters. There's one alphabet. If you get to know the characters, it's fine. Then you have to learn the second alphabet, which I'm doing right now, which is just I started right now, but it's pretty good. Then you have to learn that one, which is how the symbols change to have different sound. Then you have to learn combo, which has even different sound with the one I'm doing right now, which is katakana, having a ton of combos. And then you have to do a small, which is followed by a constant, and then you have long vowels, which is easy. And that's all the things you have to do. It's just the hardest thing actually I think is just learning the alphabet and kanji and things like that. Because I don't think speaking Japanese is a problem that a lot of people have. It's more like writing and all of that stuff. Because I know one YouTuber like learned all of this stuff and everything, and in Japan he was like he was like with some Japanese people. He was like, "Oh yeah, I learned this," and he was just showing them the textbooks that he was like working with, and he already had finished. And they were like, "Yeah, I have never seen this in my whole life." So he technically knows more than the people that live in Japan.
Respectable. Fair play to him. I don't know. I've never been. I've always been quite academically inclined, but I've never been able to quite commit myself to a language, for whatever reason. I enjoy learning it and I can learn it to an extent, but never to sort of a fluent level where I'd feel comfortable, confident speaking to a person from that country. I tried learning French obviously at school. Then I tried doing Italian on Duolingo. Then I went to German on Duolingo because bit of fun. I enjoy the language. It's fun. And then I see them people that are like they can speak like 10, 15 different languages quite fluently, and I'm like, how? Like, how do you commit yourself to doing that and remembering all the different rules and vocabulary and sentence structures of all these different languages? I mean, fair enough, you get languages that are quite similar, like German and Dutch, or French and Flemish in some senses. And then obviously you get different dialects. You get Canadian French and obviously French, and then Belgian French. And then obviously you have like the Baltic states there, that sort of language, the sort of the Russian, Ukrainian sort of area. There's a car on its roof. Don't know as to who that is.
Enzo.
That is Enzo.
How and
That
why?
is.
Wait, let's just. That's sad. I wanted to look more on that. How has he done that? Because I'm quite intrigued, Enzo. We need to know how he did that. At least I need to know. I want to know that.
I want answers. I don't need sleep. I need answers. And in all fairness, I need a lot of sleep right now. I'll put it that way. But yeah, I need answers. I want to know as to how he's ended up on his roof. My best guess is that he's found himself 2 wheels on the banking and flipped the car over. Is the only reasonable explanation. Is we saw Boris Lopachak into the pit lane on that previous lap for what should be the penultimate final time, I think, in this race. Should be his final stop, right?
Yeah, that should be it. And while we are talking about languages, I have this one guy in my league, and he's learning Danish, Romanian, Swedish, Portuguese, Spanish, Russian, and French. That's 7 languages. And he has the most experience on Danish. And of course, he's winning the league by 463 points.
Fair enough.
Quick maths. Actually, in what league are you? I want to know. I'm quite intrigued.
Oh, what, my Duolingo?
Yes.
I think I'm Sapphire or Ruby, one of those two.
I'm in front of you.
I don't really. I do the one for the day and then I stop. I should probably like take it a bit more seriously and try and get some more XP because I've got loads of XP boosts just sat there, so I could probably get myself up a couple of leagues if I tried. So I might have to do that. I might have to overtake Michael in the Duolingo leagues. The thing is, we were talking about my girlfriend. We do it together. We thought it'd be fun to do it together. And she's complaining. We're in the same league, right? But she's complaining that for my promotion zone, it's like 100 XP, whereas for hers, it's like 360.
Yeah,
and she's always complaining that I have an easier job of getting promoted than she does, and she's just always complaining about it, and I love it because it's so much fun. But she tries so hard to get promoted all the time, and it just never really works out on Duolingo. Which is it's strange because there's obviously so many different leagues, but obviously only so many people with so much XP. So yeah, obviously you need to get lucky.
I have the same thing with my classmate. We are like climbed the same leagues and everything, and we are in the Emerald League, like the green one. I don't know the name right now. I would have to search it up, but I'm too lazy to do it now. And like I got in, like no problem. Like the top ones, I don't know, somehow got around 10,000 on the last day. And I was like, okay, first place, that's quite cool. And then I look on his profile and I'm like, oh, he didn't make it. Then he shows me a screenshot and he hasn't made it by like 2 XP into the next league. So he's a league below me. And it's quite sad, but he was fuming that day. Anytime I asked him, he was just like, oh nah, and I don't want to talk about it. And how he said, that you wouldn't like learn any language to speak fluently to someone that's from the country. Guess what I'm doing right now?
What's that?
Well, English is not my main language, so
Of course.
I'm speaking fluently to someone from an English-speaking country. Something that I learned. So yeah, there you go. I know more than you.
Do you?
Technically, yes.
What, in terms of languages?
Yes.
Because you speak English, I'm guessing Czech as a language. You have your own dialect. And then obviously you've got your Japanese as well.
Yes.
That you are almost fluent in.
Just a little bit of French, but I forgot most of it. And I'm learning German as well. And that's a class we have to take. And I hate the teacher. No, she is. What do you want to speak German? No, we shouldn't speak German. I don't think that. I don't think that James would be happy. If I'm right.
I don't know. What's that?
I don't know. I don't think that James would be happy if we started speaking a little bit of German here on the stream.
I don't know. Speaking of, JPB's own Alex Goldschmidt once introduced the stream in complete German for a 6-hour race at the Nürburgring. He did the entire intro all in German, and pretty nailed it pretty well, to be fair. So I mean, it's not unknown for streams to be done in different languages. However, I do not think I'm well versed enough in German to speak in a fluent sense in a conversation. I would probably be able to say tea and coffee, please, which is tea and Kaffee bitte, if I was ordering for myself in a cafe. I could also then say probably tea mit milk, which is tea with milk.
You know how to introduce yourself.
Ich bin Zach. I'm Zach.
Hello, ich heiße Micho.
Yeah, I say. Yeah, that works.
Bin and ich heiße is the same, so.
Ich heiße. I'm guessing that is my name is.
Yes, and ich bin just means the same thing, but also can mean other things. Yeah, it's German. It's complicated.
Ich bin just means I am, basically, because you can say, if you wanted to say I'm a waiter, you'd say ich bin Kellner.
Yes.
As your professional. Yeah, it's got a multitude of different contexts is the word I'm looking for in terms of when and when not to use different words and things like that. And that, to be fair, that's pretty unanimous in terms of other languages as well. But we have it in English with things like live and live. They're spelt the same, but obviously mean different things. And then obviously different words meaning different things in different situations. So you know, like the word sick. Sometimes we'd use the word sick to be like, ew, that is sick, as in that's disgusting.
Yeah.
And then other times we say, oh, that's sick, as in like, yeah, that's really cool, that's really exciting.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's also why my
yeah.
classmates hate a bit of English, but yeah. Also, they hate when we play Duolingo because I just win every time. And that's fun as well. So yeah, my classmates are not very excited of English because of me. Because I destroy every time we play Duolingo. I'm just competing with the teacher at this point. It's like there is no fun in the class. And the teacher is nice. I don't want to do anything bad like as well in the class. Anyway, back to the racing. Enzo was back, is again somewhere else. Might have retired, might have not. I don't know. Costa, 25 laps in. His closest driver behind him is 1 minute and 39 seconds. That's a long time to be ahead of someone, but it's a long track as well. And in front of him is basically no one. And our number 2 driver, Boris, has no one at the back of him, no one in front of him. He is lonely and alone.
He's chilling. Basically, I mean, he's I mean, to be fair, everyone is very, very lonely out on circuit. The closest gap is the gap between first and second, which is Costa and Boris Lifejack, but the distance between the pair of them is about the same between Costa and Lifejack and Azazel. Speaking of Duolingo, I just got a notification to actually do mine, which I hopefully should do before obviously midnight strike.
I did it like a lap done. Because I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose my streak. Tomorrow I have a month, so I'm good.
I'm approaching 2 months on Duolingo now, so go me. I'm getting up there in terms of my streak, and it's just warned me that I will lose it if not. Obviously, those of you in the YouTube chat, welcome in to some very enthralling conversation. As Boris Leipzig takes a very, very wide line off the exit there, unfortunately, of Stavolo, I think, as Enzo has had a crash. 99.89 kilometers an hour for the driver sat there in 5th place as it stands. And while we ride on board with Boris Leipzig, the Croatian sat in 2nd place at the moment, trying to bring yet another podium to his tally for the season. And, well, there he goes sideways. That is a big, big slide. If he manages to hold that fair play, hits the barrier at Boschmont, finds himself flipping over. He's done an Enzo. Has he landed it? Yes, he has. He's able to carry on. Boris Leipzig able to carry on. Somehow, I don't know, but that was worth 5% engine restriction. He looked so cool when he did that.
I mean, the best thing, the wheels just came off the car. Just no one cares. It's an everyday thing. Don't you just hate it when you go like down to the stores, you just crash a little bit and the wheels just come off your car, you go through the car, come back into the car, back on themselves. It's just a normal day thing. It's no, we don't welcome to the circus. That's the only way you can say.
Basically, yeah. I remember one time I was commentating on an endurance league, and they took to Suzuka, and you know at the second Egner where you've got that run into the hairpin, they spun off the exit at the second Egner, and they found themselves facing the barrier, and this was on iRacing by the way, and they stopped like right in front of the barrier because they hit the barrier and obviously the car stopped. Following that, they launched the car up into the air and flipped over. They didn't even hit the wall very hard or whatever. They literally just rolled into it and tapped the barrier. And the game's physics sent them flying up into the air and then slammed them back down. That is one of the many, many funny experiences that I've seen when it comes to sim races and taking off. I've seen before with oval racing, particularly where small bit of contact and you look like the king out of Cars on the final lap, flying through the air and then hitting the ground and very much tumbling. I've
Lightning
also
McQueen.
had, yeah, I love Lightning McQueen, mate. I will never ever grow out of Cars, and I will stick to that. I've got a Lightning McQueen clock in my bedroom. I have a Lightning McQueen model car next to my copious collection of Hot Wheels that I've now started to get. I'm always going to live by the ethos of Lightning McQueen.
So your
And
favorite movie, animated movie, is Cars.
I'd say it's up there for sure. It's my childhood movie. It's my childhood
What's your
movie.
favorite?
I mean,
Then.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm quite a big Disney fan, to be fair. I'll watch anything Disney. You know, Lilo and Stitch, Lion King, Moana, Mulan. I love Disney, basically. But Cars definitely is up there because, well, it's Cars, it's racing, and it's the movie that I've always grown up with, and literally is now, because of me, become sort of the center point of the family. Everyone in this family knows Cars, and everyone in this family sort of can quote the movie because, well, I've just watched it that many times. I've bored them to death with it. But yeah, I'm never gonna go out Lightning McQueen. Why would I? Why would I want to? It's Lightning McQueen. You can't get bored of Lightning McQueen. Like, there's absolutely no way. I mean, like, it's impossible. Yeah. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah. And there we go. Boris
Oh.
Lipacek, a huge off, coming down the Master Straight just after the Master Kink, I believe, and that sees him facing the wrong way, carrying on, of course, still with 25% reduction in terms of his engine speed. Now down the Hollowell straight, but, well, that is him with a fairly sizable crash. Fortunately for these guys, there's not a massive damage model in play. They're not going to knock their wheels out of geometry or anything like that. However, they are going to take that engine reduction, which is not great, but it definitely could be more punishing in terms of their crashes.
Definitely can. One wrong crash, and everything can go into shambles. If he actually had the right damage model. But with here, and basically no damage, just the resistor, it really hurts them on these straights. And that's the main point of this track as well. But
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky circuit. As Costa runs his way through Burnhamville for yet another time. With what are we now? We're lap 28 now, are we?
27.
27. Do you
Yeah,
know what
no,
we're,
28
we're,
laps.
we're do you know what we're really close to right now, Michael? We were talking about it a little bit earlier on.
What?
We've almost hit the 80% mark.
Yes.
We're getting there. Slowly but surely we're getting there. Ticking the laps by. We've been going for, at least on stream, for almost 3 hours now. And still with a few more laps left to go. About 30 minutes, I want to say, left of racing action. And then, of course, we go to some post-race interviews. We talk to Costa, Lipacek, and Azatel, who will finish on the podium as it stands. And then, of course, we'll say a very warm goodbye afterwards. But this race has been interesting. I think we've gotten to know each other quite well throughout this. Michael. I think we've had a lovely conversation. Obviously, the racing hasn't exactly given us much to talk about in terms of on-track action, but yeah, we've been talking outside the commentary booth, and it's not been too bad. I very much enjoyed it, and while we've only got about 7 laps left of it to enjoy, as we approach the final 20% as Costa, well, still impressing with some power slides there for Stavolo.
It's just welcome to our podcast where there's a race in the background. That's basically the thing that's happening right now. But 5th gear going down almost 250 kilometers per hour. Must be crazy. And to continue with the animated movies, my favorite is Wall-E.
Fair enough. I can see that, yeah.
And I'm mad. Actually, not a lot of people know about Wall-E. I noticed. I'm quite mad about it. Because it should get more recognition.
I I agree. I think Wall-E is a very good film. I've not watched it in a while. I probably should. Basically, any Disney Pixar movie, to be fair, is really good. Like Cars and Toy Story as well. Toy Story is a really good franchise.
The last good animated movie I saw was The New Puss in Boots.
I've not watched it. Speaking of really good animated movies, actually, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is really
Yes.
good.
Yes, that's
I
perfect.
really enjoyed that.
It's good.
Obviously, the soundtrack and everything was just perfect. And
What's Up Danger?
yeah, exactly. Honestly, Sunflower, What's Up Danger, Memories, all very good songs. All of them were added to my playlist. Hashtag Spotify Premium. Yeah, it was a really good movie, and I really enjoyed it. And they are making a new one, aren't they? Soon. I'm pretty sure there's another one coming out. So keep an eye out for that one. I'm looking forward to it. Because yeah, the whole Miles Morales and the sort of the multiverse thing was really cool. And then obviously it got introduced into the MCU, which outside of animated movies again was pretty good. Yeah, some good stuff in terms of movies. I'm just trying to think of actually animated movies. How to Train Your Dragon trilogies. Oh my god, absolutely.
What's trilogy? Yeah, How to
The
Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon, 100%. Honestly,
there will be a live action.
No, I saw that. The think about it. I would love to see that. I hope they do it right though. I don't want it to be botched because it's either going to be the best thing ever or it'll be the worst thing ever. The original 3, there is no way you can beat that. Because it was just too good. Honestly, the soundtrack and obviously just the storyline and how sort of it just captured your emotions was very good. So a live action version of that, while it would be very cool and more immersive, they really do have to get the cast exactly right, and they still have to get the voices exactly right, and they have to get everything exactly right. Otherwise, it's probably not going to be that well received. So I hope they do a good job in terms of remaking the How to Train Your Dragon, because again, that was my childhood, and so I went through the trouble of watching all 3 movies again. And I still need to watch Race to the Edge all the way through again, because I grew up watching that as well. New season like every however long, and I remember just being like, "Sweet, yeah, gonna binge watch this now. Fantastic, looking forward to it." And I want to go through it again. But I say unfortunate. I was about to say unfortunately. It's not unfortunate. I'm working my way through The Walking Dead again at the moment, so I haven't really got time to start a new series, which is a shame because I want to watch more How to Train Your Dragon stuff. Regardless of which, we're sat here with moments left to go in this race, talking about our favourite animated movies, which says everything you need to know about our job as a commentator, is the fact that we need to talk absolute waffle for as long as possible, which I think we're doing a pretty good job of, to be fair. We're doing our best at keeping the conversation rolling. I'm proud of us, Michael.
I have a good quiz question for you. From the 3 How to Train Your Dragons movie, which one is turning 9 years old today? Like not today, but this year.
The second one?
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah. Oh, it was 2014, wasn't it? Oh, that is disgusting. That makes me feel so old.
Oh, you know what? Disgusting. I already said that as well. We are as 9th graders, we are not patronizing, goddammit. We're like looking over a bunch of 1st graders, and we are like in the class, and they were like, the teacher put on the songs, and one of the songs was, What Does the Fox Say? From Elvis. I was like, but wait, the song is from 2013, and I looked and I was like, wait, the song is older than the children. I was like,
it is ridiculous.
God.
My brother just turned 11, his birthday last week, and he was born in 2012, and that makes me sick. That makes me very sick, because I know I'm a 2006 baby, right? And I get that I'm young, right? But I'm getting old, and I do not like it. The fact that Finding Dory was 8 years ago, the fact that GTA 5 came out, it was July of 2015, Finding Dory. And Incredibles 2 was a few years ago. I'm trying to think. What else was there? There was Moana. Yeah, Cars 3 was 2017. That was now 6 years ago. Moana was 2015.
Oh god.
The new
Like-
Mulan was a couple of years ago already. It is ridiculous how fast time flies, and I think of it like I still see 2018 as like last year.
I see
Same with like
2016 as last year.
yeah,
2016
exactly.
is the year that's the first Vaders were born in.
Ridiculous.
What's to me. It's like, where did the time go? It's like it has all been in front of our faces the whole time, and it's gone.
It's ridiculous. We've got Kelsey Gill in the YouTube chat, of course. JPB Zone saying Moana slaps. It does. I love Moana. Honestly, do not even get me started. I'm actually gutted that they don't do like merchandise for it because I would buy it. I have 2 Stitch hoodies. I have a Lion King hoodie, and I've got a Stitch duvet as well that I got for Christmas, and I'm chuffed with that. I love Disney stuff. Don't even get me started.
Revival
Yeah,
Racing League,
honestly,
all those sequels. Some of us boomers watch the originals. Talk about who is old.
hey, we've still watched the originals. I was born when Cars 1 came out, and it was the first one I watched, and I've stuck with it.
The
Oh,
original. Goddamn, I was born the same year Wally was born. One of my favorite bands is All Time Low and Fallout Boy. Both of those bands were popular in 2007. Like, there is no way. If you look at me, you will say, "Oh, definitely." He like listens. I don't know, the EDM and all that stuff. I listen to punk from the 2000. I literally love All Time Low and their old album. It's so good. Just yeah, some people would like say, "Oh, he like listened to the normal song like these teenagers do, like I don't know, the sped up pieces of something that like everybody listens to right now." I'm like here listening to just All Time Low and everything like that, and people are sometimes surprised that and they're like, "Yeah, what are you listening?" I say, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know that."
ridiculous. I don't have an old time music taste. I'm very modern. I don't listen to like drill or anything like that. The UK music scene. I'm not into that. I'm very I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Royal Wrestling saying that they were born when the first Toy Story was in theaters, which I think was like 1994. I think off the top of my head, it was somewhere in that vein. Kelsey saying that he loved The Incredibles, making him feel old. Discussing there's people turning 18 this year, born in 2005. Tell me about it. Makes my girlfriend seem incredibly old. She's like, yeah, no, you're still 16. I'm turning 18 this year. That's disgusting. I still turn 18 next year. I get one more Christmas as a child, and I'm going to hang on to that forever. I still can't sleep on Christmas Eve, which says a lot about me because I'm a child. But yeah, he finds it disgusting that people turning 18 this year, born in 2005. It's ridiculous. Trust me, we feel just as old. The time flies. It's crazy. Incredibles was such a good movie. The second one was really good. Fortunately, it didn't fall into the trap that other Disney sequels did, like The Little Mermaid and Mulan and Lion King, and did somebody do another one? Where they did like the reboot, or not reboots, but like the sequels that like were just money grabs. But
Well,
obviously,
because you
Incredibles
cannot
actually did it.
remake like Incredibles somehow just live action, I will say.
Yeah, it'd
So
be
yeah,
quite
that would
difficult.
be hard. And talking about like
But
old stuff and music, my playlist that I like listen to most has 39 hours and 4 minutes. It reaches from everything. You have from, I would say, from crab rave, the techno, the EDM, the classical music. I think there's like 2 drill songs, the pop, to, oh god, um, as- the indie, the punk, to depressing things, the more indie, the more EDM, more pop, more old songs. It's big. I have gorillas here as well. But that's and a band as well. House of the Rising Sun. That's what I have here as well. Yeah, it's like all these things, and it's just one place. It's a mishmash of everything.
Oh yeah, same. Like my music taste is all over the place. I'll listen to pop or almost anything to be fair. I've got like I've got from music from Beauty and the Beast to Blink 182 on my playlist, which is a very very wide range and
I
everything in
don't
between.
think I actually have any movie soundtracks. Oh wait, I have What's Up Danger and Sunflower. So, no, I
What's Up
do
Danger is a
have.
good song.
Yes, I do have Sunflower. Then maybe When Can I See You Again? And that's from
Wreck-It Ralph, we've got that one as
Wreck-It
well.
Ralph.
I've got that one on mine.
Oh
Yeah,
wait,
yeah, yeah.
how old is that a movie? It's like
Oh,
2015.
don't. I think
Yes, I'm
no,
going
I
to
think it's
do
even
this
earlier.
to you and
I think
me.
it's even earlier than that. I think it's 2012
Oh
to 2013.
God, it's 2012.
I will. Is
Oh
it? Yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh God, it's so good. Oh, you cannot do this to me. Zootropolis 26. Fine. Let's go. Oh, what is actually 2008? Wait, am I tripping? In Czech
You're an
Republic,
07
it was
baby,
in
right?
2008. In the Czech Republic, it was 28. 28.
Ah, okay,
No,
okay, okay.
no, it was 28, and Ratatouille was 27. So I
Oh my
am
word.
getting it confused. Up was 2009. Inside Out was 2015. Finding Nemo was 2003. Monsters Inc. was 2001. The Life, I don't know, something with the Ant is 1998. Toy Story 3, 2010. Finding Dory
Toy Story 3
2016.
was 2010.
Toy Story 3 was 2010.
Oh my word, that is disgusting.
Like, Coco was 2017. And that's
Coco.
Coco.
I love that film. That
Tangled.
is ridiculous. Rob
Tangled
recently saying,
2010.
I remember watching Tangled in the cinema. I remember my oldest brother and his girlfriend took me to go and see it, and I remember being really excited because the person that voices Flynn Rider's first name is Zachary. So I went into
Wait,
school the next day saying, "Oh my God, yes, I was in Tangled."
wait, actually. Yeah, Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
I was
like,
well excited.
oh yeah, I see the light in the playlist as well.
Fair enough.
It's a good song, and it's a good duet as well. Don't mind me. Also, we had to practice it um for band, so yeah, that's also there.
See, the only duet on my playlist is the camp rock songs, which is incredible. They're good songs.
Rock.
It
Oh
is a
god.
good film, good couple of films. Rather saying Wally and Ratatouille are the best. I can agree that they are very very
Yes,
good films.
definitely.
Ratatouille is a fantastic film, and Wally also was a really good film. Yeah, I will agree that they are some pretty good films. Again, I just think Disney churn out some really good animated movies, and also live action ones as well. They've yeah, they're just honestly Disney could buy the world at this point. Like everyone knows what Disney is, in some form or
Wait,
another.
I'm going to kill your mind. Frozen.
2013,
Numero
I
uno.
know, I
Yes,
know.
2013. God damn it, he knows. He
It's
knows.
disgusting.
Oh, do you
And then
know
Frozen 2 was
Pixels?
like, what's that?
Pixels.
Yeah.
2015.
Oh, don't stop, Michael, stop it. Kelsey, Ice Age 2002. Remember watching that in the cinema as a kid. I love Ice Age. I want to watch all of them all over again, but I just haven't
Yeah.
really had the opportunity to.
What
Ice
kind-
Age was a really good film.
What the studio? Who made Ice Age? Because I think the studio that made Ice Age and Rio shut down. If I'm right.
I don't know. Ice Age.
Yeah, Blue
Was it
Sky Studio
Paramount?
shut down. No, Blue Sky
Ah,
Studio.
okay.
Yeah, they shut down already. But they had good movies as well. How you said, Ice Age, Rio. Of course, Rio too. They had Spies, the spy movie where Tom Holland and Will Smith is voice acting. That's 2019. I forgot how it's named in English.
Wait, Tom Holland and Will Smith?
Yeah, it's like forgot how
Oh,
it's.
there's Leipzig. Big
Oh,
off. There we go.
there he
Into
goes.
Stablo. That's not the first time that he's done that. Increases
Oh, it does that
his
as well.
engine penalty to 30% now overall. But yeah,
If you give me a minute, I think. I don't know why my Google is in Czech suddenly. Spies in Disguise. That's how it's named.
I don't think I've ever watched that. Ah, speaking of film, Shark Boy and Lava Girl was also something I watched growing up. That was I don't know if you watched that in Czech or not, but
Wait, what?
Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Have you not seen
Shark.
that?
I don't think Shark. Wait, what? Shark what? Shark.
Boy.
Shark Tale also.
Shark Tale, yeah, but Shark Boy, as in Shark and Boy, and
Girl.
Lava Girl, as in Lava and Girl. That was a
Oh.
long time ago.
Oh. I may have saw it. That's 21% on a Czech, like the rating site. It has 21%. So I don't think you. Oh, Liza, Liposchak, DNFing. That's quite weird.
Oh.
With 3 laps to go, you DNF.
That is heartbreaking for the Croatian. We're getting told that his engine died.
Oh.
Probably after some pretty substantial hits going into the final couple of corners at Stavlo. And with such a long race and being so close to the end of it, it's now only going to be 4th place at best. I think he's still going to be able to finish ahead of Enzo because of the fact there's not enough laps for Enzo to unlap himself that many times. So it's only going to be 4th place. But that is a big shame, unfortunately. Flapjack, who was running very comfortably in 2nd place, and, well, that is unfortunately what racing can do sometimes. It will bite back at any possible moment and is very indiscriminate. It doesn't care who you are, how well you're doing. It will definitely put you on your backside and make you wonder for just a moment. And, well, that is exactly the fate that Boris Leibjak has had to face. He finds himself in the pit lane and out of this Belgian Grand Prix for the Revival Racing League round number 5. And so close, but yet so far to the end.
Simo is doing it again. Correct was 2001. He's totally right. It was in 201. That's 6 years before I was born. That's
It's 5 for me.
It makes me feel old, even though I haven't been born yet.
Oh yeah.
Wait, and Mark DNF'd as well.
Oh wow.
Right now I see
2 more people out. That is, they're dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Enzo, he's not got enough laps to actually capitalize on it and get himself onto the podium. So Leipzig might still be able to finish on the podium without actually finishing on the podium, which means left running for the final couple of laps. We've got Costa, Anton Azatel, and Enzo still going around the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps as we tick off yet another lap to signal only a few left to go. 4 laps remaining, and obviously it'll become 3 at the line. Around about 13-14 minutes left of racing action for those involved, and well, this is definitely turning into an interesting finale in the sense that, well, the crashes that we've had have, well, come at quite a while. I thought we were going to get to the end with no more people DNFing, but obviously we waited long enough for 1 bus and 2 came at once. Only in this case, the buses were people crashing out and destroying their own races, and well, it went the way of Mark and Leipzig, which is a big shame.
To talk to Enzo and how did he get 70 resistor?
Well, that would involve him crashing 12 times. Actually, no, 14 times
Oh god.
throughout the race, above 40 kilometers an hour, which is one every second lap throughout the entirety of the race, basically, plus a bit of a change. So, but been the best day in the office for Enzo, and he really hasn't got an engine less. I'm assuming once they get to 100%, their engine just blows up.
Might be it. But he is the closest one to it. And Lipos Jack and Mark were nowhere near, so yeah. Don't know for sure, but Costa still flying on. Anton on his 30. That engine sound. Can we just listen for a second? I'll turn up the sound as well. A little bit of the enjoyment of these beautiful engines.
They sound great. Obviously, V12 in the Ferrari, inline 8 in the Alfa Romeo, and of course an i6 for the Talbot. But you can just hear him screaming, and it just sounds so great. And honestly, that's one of the best things about Assetto Corsa is the sound. You definitely do get good sound quality when it comes to Assetto Corsa.
Forgot you don't hear it. Because
No, I can hear on Discord. I can hear it.
when you can hear it on Discord.
Yeah. I can hear it through the stream.
Oh yeah, then. And that's weird then. But Discord is like I click stream without sound. Because it says like to do that, because otherwise I would have to do like some things that I don't want to do. So it's weird that you hear, but still it's great to hear this. It's beautiful. Going through Malmedy. I think let's just keep on Anton this point of view, like just what the driver saw in real life the whole race. I don't think I have neck effects on, so that's sorry for that. It would have made it more immersive, but yeah, still the beauty of these engines, god damn. Of course, breaking
They
into
were.
the Mazda King. The King that's not a King, quietly. Might be on the minimap, not here. Oh, you can see how close he is to the buildings, to the walls. That's scary. But it would be also cool to try it in real life, maybe. Just know that's 250 kilometers per hour.
Maybe a little bit slower, and with a ton of bubble wrap around you in the car. To make sure you're safe. But yeah, it's very scary. Look at how he's just seesawing at the wheel, left, right, trying to decide which the best steering angle is to take, but able to emerge from Stavolo. What will bring him on to the penultimate lap of this race, as Costa takes on to 33 or 35, so about 2.5 laps left to go. Really is not long at all when you think about it. Only about 10 minutes left of racing action until we see the end of round number 5. And just listen to Anton Azezel. Just look how scary this is, how much steering lock he's having to put in, how on the limit he really is, and how those bicycle tyres are literally moments away from completely giving up. Down one gear as he works his way through the right-hander. He's working his way now towards Blanchimont in a few moments' time, just up the road, of course. Accelerating as much as he can.
How lonely he is on the track. Otherwise, the spectators, I think that's the only thing that's keeping him company for a little bit. But otherwise, it's so empty. Do you see that, Zach? It's quite petrifying, even at these speeds and everything. Like, it's not boring, that's for sure. The car is keeping him on the edge every time. But it's something that definitely would be something for the mind to like do. I think he can think about some other things than just how to turn the car at this time of the race.
I mean, yeah, it depends. Look how long he's on the brakes, actually. Look at how much they're squealing as well as he's barely using the gearbox to slow the car down. Really spent a long time on the brake pedal. Very, very squeaky, of course. They didn't have the best of brakes back in the day. I'm pretty sure... I'm trying to think. Was it a drum use, or it wasn't? It definitely wasn't pads and calipers. It might have just been a brake by wire for these cars. Of course, I know back in the very, very old days, it was literally just a bit of wood stuck into the wheel to stop it from turning, and that was good enough to be road legal. Obviously, nowadays you need pads, calipers, drums, and shoes to even remotely have a chance of becoming road legal in terms of your braking system. Very complex hydraulic system, and I don't think that was properly utilized in Formula 1 for quite a while. Maybe they had some updated tech back in the 50s, but yeah, I think pretty sure it was just a cable that pressed two bit of friction materials against the rotating part of the wheel, which sees the car slow down, which is obviously great for the car because it kind of needs to slow down a little bit. It does help, but yeah, the braking system and of course technology in general in Formula 1 really has developed quite a lot, and I think that's very apparent when you look at these cars going around on the limit, constantly flirting with death, and then you look to today where the cars are absolutely on rails and don't ever seem like the driver is out of control of them because the aerodynamic capabilities are just that high.
And flirting with death when Daniel Kvyat or any of the Russian drivers are on track. No offense to the Russian drivers, but we know what happened in Bahrain.
Right, Michael, you are going to get yourself in a lot of trouble with with what you're saying on stream. Yeah,
I am not to offend any drivers, but let's be the Torpedo and Mazepin were not the best examples of what Russia can bring to the table. Russia has very great drivers. I know some of them, mostly on drifting. Russia has one of the greatest, most of the greatest drifters up there with Japan. There goes Costa slowly crashing for a little bit. But yeah, Japan and Russia have some of the best drifters in the world, with Russia being close behind Japan on second place. So nothing against Russia. You have clearly good drivers, but the good drivers don't have enough money to make it into Formula 1. And now they cannot make it at all because we know the major thing. Otherwise, back onto track, Costa and is leading by 1 lap. So I guess that's quietly over. I don't want his engine to blow up. That would be really sad. But isn't it great that we have so diverse grid of the Ferrari 125, the Ferrari 375, and the Alfa Romeo? Isn't that great, Zach?
Oh yeah, all 3 different manufacturers inside the top 3, which is great. We won't talk about the fact that there's only 3 cars running, but 3 different manufacturers inside the top 3. Brilliant stuff. Very diverse field. Of course, there is the Talbot-Lago T26C also in use, but is not running on circuit anymore. However, what we have reached is a milestone in this Grand Prix. Costa, from starting on pole position, dropped down a little bit in the initial moments versus Boris Lipschak, was able to get his way back through in the opening moments also, and has since not looked back. His gap back to Anton Zetel is astronomical, and now he starts the final lap. 14 kilometers left to go in the Revival Racing League, round number 5 here for the Belgian Grand Prix, and well, all he's got to do is not put it in the wall.
Very true things said by Zach. Costa going through like Tom into Haute de la Côte. Just these little turns. These are more of a flat out turns than the King does on one of the straights. I forgot the straight's name. The first straight, the big one, then into Burnenville, then into Malmedy. These beautiful 1950s buildings, as you can see, side with his car. This, the bonnet cam, one of the most beautiful things made for racing games. Through Malmedy, going down the straight, and here you will feel the raw speed of these cars, and also hear the beautiful engine.
Climbing up the rev range, and well, in excess of what now is 8,000 RPMs. That means the crankshaft is turning 8,000 times per minute. Very, very fast and very, very loud, of course. And a screaming V12 is that's the thing though. With actually no, it's not. Ignore me. The V12s obviously will be able to turn a bit quicker. They've got different piston and cylinder layouts, obviously. I had a blonde moment there and thinking they had two crankshafts, which they don't. They just have one and all convene into one. Again, I don't know what I was on about. But anyway, the V12 in that Ferrari is hurtling its way around into hold on a minute, and then of course Stavolo for the final time. Then that run up towards Blanchimont, and then the final run to the line. He's got about half a lap left to go in this race, and well, for Costa, it's been nothing short of brilliant. His engine screaming as he approaches the final couple of corners for the 35th and final time. It's been a very, very, very long race, upwards now of nearly 3 hours in length alone. And Costa, with now only a handful of corners left to go, he's pretty much got Blanchimont and Clubman left to go, and then La Source, of course, and then he'll take the checker flag as the victor. Through Blanchimont now, you can see riding on board, downshift, a flick, and power sliding his way through. Look at the skill, look at the handwork that is there from the man from Portugal, who will extend his championship lead and make it his 4th podium of the season. In brilliant, brilliant display. Took a 3rd in Silverstone, a win in Monaco, a 2nd at Indianapolis, 6th last time out in Switzerland. He comes into Spa, he's got one more corner, braking down in towards La Source. He's going to see the checker flag first by a long, long margin. And with Skywalker not here, with Boris Lipajak out of the race, it's going to be more points added to the championship lead from the man from Portugal. Costa makes it his 2nd victory and takes both Monaco and Spa for the 1950 Formula 1 World Championship here for the Revival Racing League. Round number 5 goes the way of Costa in the Ferrari 125. What a brilliant display of racing action. And, well, he was entirely dominant. Anton Azeta will come across a few minutes later to cross the line in 2nd place. And then, of course, Enzo a little bit after that to take 5th. Of course, Lipajak and Mark will take 3rd and 4th with not enough lap time for Enzo to unlap himself. But, yeah, well, that was a long one. And, well, Costa came out on top.
He surely did. Anton now going to Blanchimont. I guess I will take it as your call, Zach. Do you want to take in already the first our winner into the voice chat while Enzo will try and finish his lap?
We'll give them a minute. We'll let them all finish, I think is the best thing, and then we'll go through the results, and then we'll get them in. We want to give them time to cool down and obviously not actually want to be able to talk to us rather than just dragging them straight after a race. I'm sure they're absolutely exhausted. We don't want an Ian Porter situation with ESL R1 where they literally they had a man with a microphone next to him while he was still finishing the final lap, trying to interview him. Yes, granted, he was running down in P12, but yeah, he had a microphone in his face while he was still driving and trying to finish. Anton Azeitel, though, for Germany, 2nd place in this race, was able to capitalise on Lipajak's DNF and was able to pick up the pieces to make it a podium in Spa. Enzo, still about halfway around the circuit, waiting for him to finish in the Alfa Romeo 158-47 Alfeta down the Hollowell Straight for the final time. He's still got a long way left to go in terms of finishing this lap, but well, he's going to be hoping it's going to be done sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Enzo will just now finish going through Stavila. He still has a long way to go, and he knows that all the cameras are on him, or I hope he knows as well. He's just making his way downtown, going. No, I cannot do that. He's just walking his way downtown, going fast. Third gear, 200 kilometers per hour, 6,000 RPM, 85 resistor. I'm surprised at the determination of this man of not giving up after how many crashes. Goddamn. Like, oh no, it just doesn't let him finish. But now when it is overtime, it didn't even let him. Oh, that's sad. Otherwise, Zach, who do you want to take first in uh
I think we'll start from third and work our way up, of course, but it was Costa that took victory here in Spa. Anton Zetel in second, then comes Lipajak to round off the podium, despite actually not reaching the checker flag. Mark Enzo, your top five, with Baron, Noah Marzo, Sen, Lopez, V-Up, and JB Awesomeness, all unable to make it to the checker flag for a multitude of different reasons. What we're now going to do is take a quick look and a quick chat with our podium finishers. We'll start, of course, with the third place man of Boris Lipajak, and get him into the commentary booth and have a very, very quick word with him. Boris, interesting race for you, I think is the way to say it. Obviously, you came off the high of Switzerland, and into today, you were looking pretty good in second until it all sort of came undone right at the end.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. This was a very, very interesting race, but as well a very boring race, especially for you guys, I guess. Yeah, first lap was kind of interesting, but then everything else kind of fell apart. I also messed up with my settings, with my gearing. I accidentally put a shorter gearing in, which lost me like 10 kph of top speed, or more like 5-6 kph, and I got more fuel. Had to use more fuel as well. So there I was kind of stressing that I need to get 4 pit stops. So yeah, and then I just lost so much focus that I couldn't drive anymore, to be honest.
Fair enough. I mean, it was a long race, I'm sure for you, and of course for us in the commentary booth. But I mean, for you, how does this race compare to Switzerland? I mean, both of them were very, very tricky circuits, but I think very, very different circuits in that regards. Obviously, Switzerland was more narrow and twisty and tight, whereas Spa was more open and flowing and fast. You said you found yourself lacking a little bit of concentration towards the end. Was that purely because of maybe Spa not engaging you as much as Switzerland did?
Actually, no, I liked Spa more to drive on, but then just sleep deprived from work.
Fair enough.
You know, so yeah.
I don't blame that. To be fair, we've all been there, 100%. Obviously, one more question before we let you go, Boris. I mean, looking forward to the rest of the season. Only a couple rounds left to go. What are your aspirations? Are you still aiming for anything? Are you trying to maybe take the victory for the last couple of rounds? I mean, Costa's on a really good run of form. He's going to be a hard man to beat.
Yeah. I wouldn't. If I want to get anything out of this, I would have to start practice, but I don't really have time for that. So yeah, I hope. Well, I want to participate in every race. Personally, I still have high goals, but for now, just to be fair to the league, just participate in every race and try to finish the race at least, and fill the grid, help filling the grid.
Of course, yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary booth. I'm sure we'll see you next time we're broadcasting for another chat. Thank you for joining us, and well, best of luck for the rest of the season, Boris.
Yeah, see you till next time.
Well, Boris Lipajak, the Croatian driver who was able to finish second place in the Belgian Grand Prix. And, well, what we'll do is we'll take a quick chat with Anton Zetel. Second place in the Belgian Grand Prix for you. You were well, quite happy just sitting in third for the majority of the race until, well, a certain second place man sort of just stopped right in front of you, DNF'd, and you're able to pick up the pieces and get yourself up in a second.
Yeah, it wasn't a very exciting race, I'll be honest, but yeah, I'm happy to end up where I've ended up, even though it wasn't very much on my own merit as a driver, but like more on the mistakes of other people. So it's, yeah, consistency wins the race, I guess.
Does indeed. You got to make it to the checkered flag, I guess, to be able to reap the rewards. And well, second place for you definitely isn't too bad. I mean, yeah, you seem to be sort of sort of cruising in autopilot mode for a lot of that, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
It was a long race, approaching 3 hours, I think, in length. But I did ask Boris this: how does Spa differ to Switzerland? Were you able to keep your mind focused as much? I mean, obviously Spa had a lot of straights, a lot of flat out sections. Did you sort of doze off a little bit throughout the race?
It was a lot harder not to crash. I don't know, you just don't have the reference points for braking and everything, because like the scenery moves fast past the car in Switzerland. You just have more reference for just your speed you're going at, and here, since it's more flat and you don't have like trees nearby, you have difficulty judging speed, and missing braking points is like quite a common thing for me, at least in this race. So yeah, it was harder for me just to keep concentrated, that's for sure.
For sure. I mean, obviously, you, as a racing driver, you need your references to be able to actually know
Mm.
where you're going. It does help, which, yeah, for sure is adding to the challenge that is Spa. But I guess that's why it's so loved in some regards. Of course, final question before we let you go, Anton. I mean, looking to the remainder of the season, we've only got 2 rounds left of the 1950 Formula One World Championship. Are you aspiring for much? Are you just aiming to end the season on a high?
Yeah, more than that, I think. I don't think I'll be able to challenge any of the like top 2 or top 3. Like Costa and Boris are very fast, and I don't think that I'm on that level yet. I guess I could still improve, but I just want to have fun for the rest of the season. I don't aim for any particular goal.
Just here to enjoy yourself. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I respect that. Well, of course, best of luck for the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Anton Zetel, the German driver, able to take second place in the Belgian Grand Prix. Very well done to him, of course, as well. Well, now we'll take a quick talk to race victor, of course. Very, very well done today. You drove a fantastic race. I mean, you were so far out in front. I'm not really sure anyone else ever saw you at any point, apart from the opening sort of lap or so. After that, you were just completely gone and out in front. Talk us through your race from your perspective.
Well, hello guys. It was good for me. Not much to say. It was a little bit boring. Just spent the whole race trying to concentrate, nothing else.
Fair enough. I mean, you were just chilling, to be fair. So the whole aim for it was maybe not to crash. I mean, you had a pretty big off at one point. I mean, thankfully you were able to continue on from that. So I guess there is that you were able to get to the checkered flag, and well, in very good time ahead of the rest. Talking about qualifying though, that set you up for that race. That pole time was sensational. Did you feel the lap was good? Were you just on the limit the whole way around? A 4-minute 13.8 was some pretty good pace.
Yeah, it was good. I knew I had that pace. I was actually hoping that I could do a better one in the race with more grip as the track evolved, but I had the restrictor, so I couldn't do the one perfect lap I wanted. It was still good though.
A 4-minute 13.8, and you're still saying that you could have done more. So I think that says everything you need to know about your pace and how quick you are throughout the event and the run of form that you're on. You mean you took your second victory, your 4th podium as well of this season. The only time you were off it was 6th place last time out of Switzerland, and even that wasn't the worst result in the world. So I mean, looking forward to the rest of the season, final couple of rounds. Surely it's your championship to lose.
Yeah, I just need to keep this consistency, and if I get another podium is basically mine, I think. So it's just just keep going forward and concentrate, and it hopefully be mine.
Well, we wish you the best of luck for it, and I'm sure we'll see you soon. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you. See you soon. Well, that was Costa, race victor, of course, of the Belgian Grand Prix. And, well, cannot wait to see the remainder of the season. And, well, Michael, before we end ourselves off for what has been some very, very hard work in the commentary booth, talking about the likes of Disney, Pixar, and Spotify Premium, talk us through the race. I mean, give us a bit of a summary. I mean, it was an interesting race, of course. Some of the drivers saying it was a little bit boring, but, yeah, well, it was definitely sheer domination from Costa.
Yeah, very sheer domination by Costa. Then going into the 35 laps, we got a total of more than 7 drivers who have DNF who just said that they didn't want to do anymore or they crashed or horrible. Of course, first lap crash between JB Awesomeness and Pedro Lopez. That was really terrifying. Not terrifying. It was really mesmerizing because I said that Pedro could have won the race, but yeah, pretty heartbreaking to have crash that just ended his race in the first lap. Of course, 14.1 kilometers of unforgettable straights and corners. That's just Spa-Francorchamps, and that's 35 laps of Spa-Francorchamps that we just have done.
For sure is, and well, a very, very long 35 laps indeed. And well, my name has been Zach Sweeney, Michael Sifalda alongside me in the commentary booth, also pushing the buttons and making sure the cameras are pointing in the right way. This has been the Revival Racing League as they present the 1950 Formula One World Championship. Round number 5, we took to the Belgian Grand Prix, the third to last race of the calendar. France and Italy are up next for rounds 6 and 7. And well, we hope to be back in the commentary booth for the season finale. You've been watching on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. Thank you to those that have tuned in and, of course, engaged in the YouTube chat as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn the bell on for notifications, of course, to not miss anything that comes your way regarding sim racing. We have absolutely everything, as you'll hear me jammer on about time and time again. You will always find a home when it comes to JP Broadcasting. But in the meantime, of course, we hope to see you in the future streams, whatever that may be, whether that be any streams tomorrow or throughout the week, or maybe you return for the season finale of the Revival Racing League. Either way, it's been a pleasure to bring you all of the action. And, well, until we see you next time, take care and bye-bye.